Mr. Chair. I'm moving for the adoption, Chair.
I second, Chair.
Thank you very much. The agenda of our meeting is duly adopted and seconded. We move. MEC, we're moving to the presentations on the third quarter performance of the department. We're starting with the department, then the entities will follow. Thank you very much. Can we beam the presentations? I assume they've been sent. Okay, thank you, Honorable Lutswa. Before we do the presentation, you have been given these things. I get. Guys, can we deliver these things to the people? Useless. Can we raise our hands so that we are given? Oh, okay. Everyone name but wako high. Rilofa batho ba batlang go mamela ka Sesotho, ka siZulu le seXhosa, le ka Afrikaans le Tshivenda le Setsonga. Ha ba tlo mamela ka English theola letso. Hobane re bua English mo. So this is interpretation for African languages only. When you want to listen to English, all of us are communicating in English. Okay, thank you, Nyabong. Pakistan, fair. Can you explain already listening to go which number and number what? I'll explain the individuals we are eating on our time. Deliver the machines only. Baba ngabatwa mopili mo. Phamisa matso, itla mo menye. You guys are not helping me. Can we move to the front here? People don't have here. Lefella ko morao kwa. Lefella ko morao. O mong a tle mo pele, o mong ko morao, then you go this way. Le tlo kopanela mo gare. So, your interpretation in different languages. Number 1 is English. Number 2, Number 2 is Setswana le Sesotho. Number 3 is isiZulu and isiXhosa. Number 4 is Afrikaans. Number 5 is Tshivenda and Xitsonga. Luti like 1 English, 2 Sotho Tswana, 3 Zulu Xhosa, 4 Afrikaans, 5 Tshivenda and Xitsonga. Do you have sign language? Okay, ikona. Sign language is on the TV screens. Ne? That is our 6th language here today. Is sign language. Look at the TV and look at the screens. For those who need that type of interpretation. So we are moving with our presentations. Please note, members, please note, the department and its entities are going to make presentations. MEC, we are going to allow all presentations to be made. Can you have your pen and paper and write? Ne? And write. There's no point of order here. There's no point of anything here. Again, on a point of order, on a point of anything. What I'm asking you is to listen and write down the questions that you want to ask the department and its entities. At the end of the presentations, then we will open up for engagement. MEC and the team, I saw your presentations. If you were printing, I would say you've wasted paper. So you did not print. So please, salient, important points on the presentation. If you could, let's not do preambles. I'm the only person that's allowed to do a preamble. I get I'm the chair, so I can do preambles and everything. Get into the presentation, tell us what is important, tell us what are your challenges, tell us how we are going to resolve the challenges, and what you want the portfolio committee to help you in resolving your problem. Don't tell us stories. Therefore, we turned right at GP Street, then we met the traffic light. We don't want that. Straight to the point. We appreciate the work that you've done. We have seen your presentations and your reports. You guys are trying your best. Tell us, what is the best that you are trying? Where the public is not there. Again, MEC, thank you very much. I'm going to hand over to the MEC and the team to do the presentation. The MEC will introduce and outline, then we will follow. Let me tell you what we're going to do. Mamela and the officials. The department is going to do the presentation. That's number 1. Number 2, the Nukeng and Cradle of Womankind. Number 3, Gambling Board. Number 4, Tourism. Number 5, GGDA. Number 6, GEP. Number 7, Tshwane Automotive. Kanjalo kanjalo. Leading what is number talona gap. So each department mahlala. Humankind must stand up. Mahlala humankind, the other one must stand up. Kanjalo kanjalo. So akilo yema keri next. I need to be afraid. Thank you very much. Let me say hand over to you now. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, the way the presentation is prepared is that it's one single presentation with the department and the entities.
Okay.
We received 46 questions from the portfolio committee, and then the various CEOs will respond to their questions. So Mshezi is going to take us through the presentation. All the CEOs are here, those that are responsible for M&E, as well as, I think there's some CFOs, I'm not sure if I've seen all of them. But Mshezi is going to take us through, he's the Chief Director in the department. Thank you.
Good morning, Chairperson, members of the Portfolio Committee, our MEC, fellow officials, as well as members of our community, Dumelang, Sanbonani, Absheni, Ndimacheroni. The presentation that I'm going to be taking you through talks to how we've performed in the third quarter of our financial year, which ends at the end of March 2024. We now, as we speak, in the fourth quarter of our financial year. I'm sure all of us are aware of the fact that we are operating under very difficult conditions in terms of our economy, which is not growing, and that impacts on a number of areas such as household consumption. We know that households are not spending as a result of the rises in terms of fuel costs, as well as the impact that has had on cost of food, as well as the rising, the very high interest rates. So that's the economy within which we are operating. I'll go straight to how we've performed as a department in this particular quarter. So in this very third quarter, we had set ourselves about 12 targets that we were meant to implement and achieve, but unfortunately we were not able to achieve 3 out of the 12 targets, but we were able to achieve 9 targets. So we're sitting percentage-wise at 75% in terms of achievement and 25% non-achievement. Of the targets, the 3 targets that were not achieved, 2 of those targets are in a program that's called Agency Oversight and Governance, and these are the companies or the entities that the department has set up in order to assist it to implement its programs as well as projects. And the other, it's in the Inclusive Economy program. What I had shared with you was really the performance of the department without the entities. And when we include the performance of these companies that we've set up to assist us to implement our programs, our performance is then increased because they've performed even better than the department. So we're sitting at a performance of 79% with only 21% non-achievement. Earlier on, I spoke about the different programs that we have within the department, and beginning with the administration, which really supports all the work that is done by our core departments that are focusing on economic development. They had 2 indicators for this particular quarter, and they had achieved all of those indicators. And then enterprise development and sector and industry development, these programs did not have any indicators to report on for this third quarter. And then business regulation and governance, this program focuses on matters pertaining to liquor, consumer affairs, as well as these entities that we spoke to that are supporting the work of the department. They had 5 indicators, and out of those 5 indicators, they achieved 3, and the ones that they did not achieve are those 2 indicators. And the last one, which is really inclusive economy, and that talks to our township economy. There were 5 indicators that they were meant to report on or implement for this current quarter. and they've achieved they've achieved 4, and there's only 1 that they were not able to achieve, and they're thus sitting at 80% performance. So in terms of what we've done well, these are the areas in which we've done very well. For example, we've made sure that we pay all our suppliers. All of those invoices are processed within 15 working days, and we've been able to do exactly that. And the other areas are around how we spend in relation to BBBE. And these are areas such as spending on women-owned businesses, developing enterprises, as well as developing our suppliers. Our targets, for example, for procurement around women-owned businesses, we had set ourselves a target of 40%, and we've overachieved that particular target, and we're sitting at 47%. In relation to enterprise development, our target was 0.025%, and we've achieved and exceeded that. We're sitting at 0.88%. And in relation to socio-economic development, our target was 0.25%. We've overachieved that. We're sitting at 2.77%. And around developing our suppliers, our target was 0.05%. We've achieved that, and we're sitting at an overachievement of about 0.87%. Another area that we've done well in relates to the following areas, where we're extending broadband coverage to townships. We had set ourselves a target of 10 townships that would have broadband coverage, and we've exceeded that. We're sitting at 13 townships. And then around, we had planned to empower or train around the Consumer Protection Act, and this training was targeted at our SMMEs. We've achieved that target. We've trained about 75 of those SMMEs. And then the other target relates to the contract that we sign with our entities to make sure that they do what they're expected to do. And these are called shareholder compacts. And we measure them against how they perform, how they comply with these shareholder compacts. And they've all achieved 100%. They've fully complied with these contracts that we've signed with them. And in relation to consumer affairs, specifically around adjudication of consumer cases, we've processed all the 5 that were targeted for the quarter, and all of those are sitting with the consumer court. Those areas that we've not done so well on are in relation to the performance of our entities. A large portion of our budget as a department goes towards those entities that are responsible to assist us to implement our programs, and these would include infrastructure-related programs. And we're sitting at a performance of 81%, which is good performance, but unfortunately, it's lower than the very high target that we've set ourselves of 95%. And the following are those areas that we didn't do so well on. And I'll start with the entity called Gauteng Growth and Development Agency. They were given a target to draw in and attract domestic investments, and they are busy with that particular target, but there were hurdles along the way. And in relation to this specific area of performance, there were challenges around the approval of building plans as well as water licenses, and that delays these investments that could have been made domestically. And then there was also that responsibility of upskilling or reskilling employed individuals. We were not able to achieve this particular target in the quarter under review, but we will still be able to achieve at the end of the financial year. As we speak, in this current quarter, this training will be undertaken, and about 300 employees would benefit from that particular intervention. And an area that largely represents the underperformance on the part of the GGDA, it's construction projects within Cornhill as well as People's Parks. The entity decided to terminate these contracts as a result of underperformance on the part of the contractors that were appointed to construct within this specific, to undertake construction within these areas. Beyond the termination of these contracts, the entity proceeded to then appoint new contractors, and they are busy with that exercise. And then another area is really around the expenditure on the part of our entities. We're sitting at 92%, which is good performance, but as I indicated, unfortunately, we've set ourselves a very high target of 95%, so we are under that target by 3%, and the reasons rather are as follows. In relation to the GEP, which is a Gauteng Enterprise Propeller, they were not able to spend money as a result of the December periods or December holidays that we went through, but they were able to make up for that during the January period. So they should be able to process all of those applications for funding that have been submitted to them. And the other entity is TASES. There was under expenditure within TASES around machinery as well as equipment budget, and that's largely attributed to the vacancy rates within TASES, but they are in the process of recruiting employees that would assist them to make sure that they are able to achieve these particular targets. And the other area where we've not done so well, our target was 6%, and that's in relation to skills development, triple BE skills development. Our performance is sitting at 1.25%, and this is as a result of the fact that both the department as well as entities did not have enough projects as well as budget to be able to achieve this particular target of skills development. But we basically encouraging a department within this current quarter to make sure that we do set aside budget and that we do come up with projects that will enable us to achieve this particular target. And then our performance in relation to gender, youth, as well as people with disabilities, that's Giodi. We've largely done well in most of the areas, but there are areas that we've not done so well in. In relation to youth, we had set ourselves a target of about 10%. We've exceeded that target. We're sitting at about 20% spend on our youth. Around female, we had set ourselves a target of 40%. We're sitting at 41%. And in relation to PWDs, our target was 5%. We are underperforming in that regard. For people with disabilities, we're sitting at 1%. And then in relation to triple BE in general, we had set ourselves a target of 80%. We are underperforming by 5%. We're sitting at 75%. In relation to our spend around our SMMEs, our target was 50%, and we're sitting at about 71%. And the reasons are largely the fact that these SMMEs that we're targeting, that are on our database, unfortunately do not have the capacity to undertake a lot of the work that we do, such as venue hiring, training, specialized training, traveling, as well as accommodation services. And in relation to our spend in our townships, we had set ourselves a target of about 40%. We're sitting at 87%, which is an over-achievement. And around our financial performance, I will not go into detail around that. I think I've covered that. We're sitting at about 91% in total. And in relation to Giodi, which I spoke to earlier on, focusing specifically on the work that we're doing within this particular region. For example, we've undertaken skills development around the automotive sector. We've trained about 2 seniors within this particular region. And when it comes to the youth, we've had outreach activities, and there's about 466 people that were targeted for the entire province. We've been able to, in this particular region, reach out to about 100 people that have benefited from the education and empowerment of young people around consumer rights as well as responsibilities. And then in relation to the automotive skills development training around the youth, we have about 25 youth within the region that have benefited from that particular intervention. And then in terms of the last mile program, there's about 5 young people within the region that have been benefited from this particular training. 5 of them are females and 20 are males. Around people with disabilities, we've undertaken consumer education and awareness workshops, and there's about 20 people that have benefited from within the region from this particular intervention. And in relation to the work that we're doing around the Gauteng Liquor Board, these awareness workshops that we run, there are these particular areas that have benefited from these particular interventions. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you very much, Chair, members of the Portfolio Committee. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Okay, Missy, thanks. Let's do the questions from the department before the entities come. Remember we sent questions to the department. So after the presentation of the department, let's do the questions that we asked, then the entities will follow after the department responds to the questions that members had requested from them. Okay? Dula fatshe ntate. Thola stulo we bear fatshe ngwaneso. Then we will follow after the questions. Thank you very much. Hi, MEC. The department must buy us a cow. They haven't submitted the answers. So we are finding the department. Do you have a farm? People of the department. No, that's fine. We don't have the answers, MEC. Okay. No, that's fine. The questions are hung between technology from the department to us. Yesterday, hey, maybe there was load shedding MEC on our computers. Okay, let's follow with the container.
It's a lot of questions.
No, it's fine. We'll just get them to submit to us. Then we'll share with them. 24 pages. I didn't get the MEC. Okay, who's presenting? GGTA, Cradle. Okay. You know, we worked the, as he guy, don't do like that. We walked the July, that walk. That was walked at the Cradle last year. The 702. You know, we entered 702 really Skonujuan. But by the time we left, it really failed, man. Because we walked on the dust and the soil, and the track was so long. CEO, Nelente Joan was 702. Really the phone pop man. No, thank you very much. Let's get the presentation from the Cradle of Humankind. And what? The name is so long. Hey, so long. Dinukeng and Cradle and what? The floor is yours, Mania. Thank you very much. Start by introducing yourself. Thank you.
Good morning, Chairperson, MEC, honorable members. Dumelang batswadi ba ka. Nna ke Matthew Sateke, responsible for Cradle of Humankind and Dinokeng project. Let me start by saying that I know that the two projects are confined to the West Rand and Tshwane, where we have the game reserve, the Cullinan Hub, and the Roodeplaat Dam. But I think it is important to know that environment is regulated by two pieces of legislation. NEMA, which is National Environment Management Act, and in the Cradle, we are regulated by NIMPA, which is National Environment Management and Protection Act. So it is on those bases that the targets that we have talk to our responsibility to protect and conserve. And just to say that we conserve and protect so that we are able to stimulate the economy through hospitality and also create jobs. Now, you mustn't think that the projects are only confined to the two areas only. We all have our own parks, picnic spots, and the environment in general, which you must be able to look after and use them for picnicking, for car washes, and etc. Chair, allow me to go straight into the report that in the third quarter, we had 10 indicator targets. At the end of 2023-24 quarter 3. Out of that, in the Cradle of Humankind, we had 6 targets and we managed to achieve 5. In Dinokeng, we had 4 targets and managed to achieve 3. The targets that we have achieved is natural resource management. In simple terms, make sure the roads are cleared. We did 100% on that. We also had a target of trail maintenance in the Cradle, and we also achieved that. Roads and cycling. In the Cradle, we are using the area for cycling. We attract visitors through cycling, and in our maintenance, we did 100% on that. In terms of the number of jobs that we create in the cradle through cycling only, we achieved the target of 30. Community beneficiation project, the project is to sang community around the cradle. We had 2 targets for the quarter. We achieved 1, but I must assure Chairperson that by the end of the financial year, we are going to be able to achieve that. We're just delayed by the procurement process, as we had to revisit it. In terms of payment of suppliers, by the last quarter, the third quarter, we're 100%. We never delayed any payment of SMMEs. Again, in the Nokeng, hectares of vegetation, which is NRM, we also got 100%. Number of community empowerment projects, 100%. We had 2 targets, we achieved both for the quarter. In terms of triple B, we had 95%. I must explain that by now it has been completed because they needed to do the interviews of senior managers to make sure that indeed they are employees of the organization. Payment of suppliers for the Nokeng entity were at 100%. Thank you very much, Chair, and the MEC and members.
Thank you, CEO. Gambling Board. Gambling Board e latelwe ke tourism.
Good morning, Honorable Chair, MEC, honorable members.
Hello. Thank you, Siyabonga.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, members of the community and colleagues. My name is Oscar Maripani from Gauteng Gambling Board. I'm the acting CFO there. Our CEO couldn't make it. They were busy with some interviews for positions that we are busy with. Before you, honorable members and community, we are presenting GGB's quarter 3 performance. This quarter we had 7 targets, and out of the 7 targets, we achieved 6 and 1 we couldn't achieve, which was relating to rates on illegal gambling, illegal sites. With regard to payments, part of the achievements is that we are able to pay our suppliers, the SMME, within 15 days that were due, the invoice that were due. We're able to process the applications for the gambling license within the prescribed period, and including registration ya the employees that work in our licensed gambling sites. We also were able to process the machines, and we're able to resolve our disputes that the community might raise from the gambling or from them interacting with the gambling site within the prescribed period that we have set ourselves. Further to that, Chair, we were also able to do the outreach to inform the community about the responsible gambling and to be aware of illegal sites that they should not go to. With regard to the rates, we didn't achieve the target, mainly because normally in December for us to do the rates, we are accompanied by law enforcement, and during the December festive season, the focus normally changes. But to date, we are on track in terms of achieving that target. Then the other projects that we do, we were able to assist in Sidibeng, 2 primary schools where we assisted in building 2 combination courts where they can play the netball and basketball, which was Kutlong Taro High School, Ilko Everton, and another one Kuntu. Then we also have applications on our website as a site where members of communities, those who want the project or want to be assisted, they can go and apply so that they can be assisted, and as and when the budget is available, we assist. We also assist in bursaries. We do open as well, we'll advertise for the communities to apply and assist our learners in terms of funding to tertiary institutions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Nice and short. Tourism. Guys, tourism, after tourism, can the next come sit here at the clinic chair? Then we behave like we're at the clinic, we're on the queue. Thank you.
Good morning, MEC. Good morning, members, communities, colleagues, and everybody. Morning. I know my presentation is about 52 slides, Chair, but I'm going to try and talk within 10 minutes. My name is Boipatong. I'm here on behalf of the CEO for Gauteng Tourism Authority. CEO could not make it for over the past 3 days. We were hosting Meetings Africa event, which is an international event, and today there were earlier arrangements to engage the international stakeholders on trade and within the business events, and he's having such meetings. Over this period in time, we had 9 targets and only 2 that has not been achieved. And the reason why the first one was not achieved, Chair, is because implementation for it started over in quarter 3 and it ended over in quarter 4. And during the reporting time, then we could not officially report because it was still a project that was on implementation. And on the last one, Chair, we expected to also achieve 10, and the challenges were around reporting. We know that we have already trained 19 out of those during the quarter 3 period, and the program finished during quarter 3. During the time of reporting, the challenge was around the report was done according to international standards, not necessarily according to the GTA and GPG standards. And it's something that has been sorted out now. I guess, Chair, what is also important then is also to just browse through and indicate that according to the period under review, we've been able then to get the statistics from South African tourism that are indicating a positive outlook out of what is happening in terms of Gauteng, amongst others, being one of the key performers, whether it is over bed nights or over domestic trips. And you will see then on the reports then that has been submitted, then there is positive numbers that have been indicated. And this, amongst others, then you will see then on the table that is in there, that's the number of the overnights. But what is important then is that if comparative with other provinces, we are number 3 in terms of the rents that have been raised. And then, Chair, I'm rushing over then into the actual projects then that has been done within the Citibank region. We've done a number of projects from a tourism infrastructure point of view, and some of them have been concluded and some of them are still continuing. And you will see then in here, to a great extent, it was around the creation of jobs. And out of those 3, you will also notice that we have been working closely then with the number of stakeholders in here, and especially the local municipality. And some of these projects, as indicated, were started in quarter 3 and are going over to quarter 4. And on this particular slide, Chair, we are also able to showcase the actual number of entities and products and beneficiaries from the region, in particular Citibank. These are the actual SMMEs that have been taken either on market access or business sustainability, and these are the various platforms that they've been taken to. You'll notice then that this also then touches on events that are within the quarter 4 and also even on others that were above that. And we've got this database. And in total then, Chair, you will see that we've been able to contribute, amongst others, on business sustainability, growth and incubation. And lastly, Chair, you'll notice then that also again on the next slides then we are also then able then to indicate the actual numbers and the training that has also happened, whether it is around compliance. And the numbers that you see on the far right are the actual beneficiaries from the region. And amongst others there, you will also then notice, Chair, then that we have also then done a DSTV Skills Delicious incubation with the academy, and there's 4 beneficiaries that have been incubated from this region in particular. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you very much, GGGA. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair, and good morning to honorable members, MEC. Dumelang bagaetsho. Lena ke itumeleng mogorose ke tswa mo company e bitswang Gauteng Growth and Development Agency. Re filwe maikarabelo a go godisa le go tlhabolla moruo wa mo Gauteng. GGDA ena le mafapha a matlhano, di-company tse 5. Ya ntlha ke GGDA Holdings, e latelwa ke Automotive Industry Development Corporation, the Innovation Hub, Gauteng Industrial Zone, le Constitution Hill, kwa Braamfontein. Mo sebakeng se re emeng mo pele ga lona ka sona, GGDA ne na le maikarabelo a go tlhagisa dithoto tse 16 and re kgonne go ntshetsa pele tse 10, so 63% achievement in quarter 3. Fela fa re lebella kgatlhanong le nako e tshwanang le yona mo ngwageng o fetileng ne re le ko pele ka 15%. Then compared to the same period, quarter 2 in the financial year, we slightly went down. But for the period, year to date, go simolola ka April, go fitlhela mafelong a December, re kgonne go fitlhela 88% ya di-targets re nang le tsona. Ke tlabe ke boeletsa report e setseng e beilwe ke Ramshezi mo pele ga lona. So the 6 targets we did not make, starting at holdings company, there's 2. Ya ntlha ke kgogelo ya dipeeletso, domestic investment. We did not make that target, largely because of 2 investments. One, ke Begazela Mining, grants application ya water use license le Department of Water Affairs. The company Begazela objected to the finding by the department, and department refile 90 days with which to assess our objection. So refile until end of March, we see the outcome of that water use license. We are mindful that mining uses lots of water, so that is why that license is needed. The next target that we did not make pertains to local contractors that benefit from the construction projects we have. Now, Ramshezi already mentioned we have had to cancel 2 contractors. One, Visitor Center ko Braamfontein, Constitution Hill. The other, Land Parcel E, Leone ko Constitution Hill, and largely because the contractors were not performing as per the contract. So those are the 2 at the holdings company, GGDA. The next set of targets that we did not make, Dico Automotive Industry Development Corporation, Eco Roslin. The company's head office, Eco Roslin, though renale di branch sepedi, one go Winterfeld, the other go Chamdo ko Kagiso. The first target that we did not make, and this is notwithstanding the fact that year to date we are at 80% of the planned objectives. Those are highlighted in green. The 3 that we did not make for the period, 1, we achieved 9 out of 10 for the training at the SMME study based ko Winterfeld, le ko Chamdo. The other one, the Trade Center, wherein we assist the artisans to be considered qualified to be certificated as artisans. We are having plans to make up for the shortfall now in quarter 4, so that is on track. the upskilling of employed people. This we work with car makers like Ford, BMW, and Nissan, lead component manufacturers. You'll notice hore, the target ya 975, re ko pele ga yona, we are at 1038, so we are on track and we will make up the shortfall now in Q4. So that is the situation at the AIDC. The Innovation Hub, on the other hand, achieved its 2 targets and they are on track year to date, so there are no concerns there. Same with the Gauteng Industrial Development Zone. There are certain questions that were posed that we'll give more information on when we respond, but the building that is currently underway was around 90% construction completed and ahead of schedule. The building as we speak is completed and the fit out will commence soon. Lastly, the Constitution Hill, where the Constitution Court is based, there's one target that we did not make, and that pertains to the ticketed visitors that pay to visit the museum go Bramfontein. The target is lagging behind largely because we were ambitious, hoping to achieve targets that were realized before COVID in 2019. We are on track. Now in Q4, there's the Human Rights Festival going to happen now, end of March. There's also the schools program that assists in us achieving this target. That is our report, and thank you for the time and opportunity to present, Chair, to the community of Boipatong. Thank you.
Thank you very much. GEP follows. In the GEP presentation, there is a request for additional information that I'm told GEP has received. Can the presentation cover those issues that were raised by the Portfolio Committee? Thank you, Siyabonga. Sit there on the hot chair and respond to our issues. Thank you very much. I was going to complain, MEC, that the other gender is not representation in the presentations. So I see the other gender is now represented. I'm looking and I'm like, these gender issues, they are a problem at DED. So I see we are gradually getting there. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I know. So we're going to start with this one, which is the one, the main one, the quarter. And then we'll go on to this one.
You'll come and help me at the Boipatong.
That's fine. Here's the first one. Sorry. Here's the first one. The first one which you're going to make now. Like that's the third quarter. And now this one is Boipatong. Yeah. If you're struggling. So the other one's just next to it. If you're struggling.
Okay.
This is the third quarter again.
Yes.
Good morning, everybody, and a special recognition to the Portfolio Committee and the MEC. I'm going to be starting with reporting on the GEP for Q3, and then after that presentation, I'll proceed to the second presentation, which was special requested to explain GEP services in the Sedibeng region. In terms of GEP's performance on the Q3, we had 16 indicators that we were measuring, and out of the 16, we achieved a total of 15 indicators, which translate to 93% performance achievement. And in terms of the GEP programs that we deliver on, we have 4 programs Under Program 1, which is administration, this one, it measures our procurement spent on various categories of SMMEs and people with disabilities. On this one, we achieved all our targets. Then on Program 2, which is our core business, the investment management, we have also achieved all our targets in this area. And meaning that we are likely to be committing 100% of our budget on loan support, and we will be dispersing, in terms of our disbursement, we'll be dispersing, our target was 85%. We're sitting at 77% by Q3, indicating that we will be achieve the target by the end of the year. And also in the youth fund as well, we have achieved our target as well in that particular area. And also continuing Program 2, in terms of grant support, we've also achieved that SMMEs, even in terms of the grants that we dispersed. We've achieved the targets, and also our support to informal traders, we've also achieved the target in that area. The only one target that we have not achieved is under Program 3, under Youth Placement Program. We were supposed to have recruited 100 youth, and during Q3 we ended up at 71 youth that have been recruited. And there was a reason that there was youth who committed to be part of the program, and then they pulled out at the end. And for various reasons, some step into other opportunities that they found. Under Program 4, we also achieved all the targets in terms of our collection rate. We're targeting 15%, we were 34%. And also the loans that are provided to the Township Economic Fund, we also achieved that particular target at 70%. And also in terms of our financial performance, we also we ended the quarter at 71%, indicating that we will end the year within good variances. That is the end of the presentation one. I'll go to the Bank specific presentation.
How many pages is it gonna? It's this one.
Is it the one?
It's coming. Yeah,
Thank you. On the Bank presentation, also for the benefit of those who do not know what GEP does, GEP in the region of Bank provide finance and non-financial support to SMMEs. And within this region, we provide business development support in the form of grant support to SMMEs to the maximum of 50,000 rand. In terms of our qualifying criteria, in order for any SMME to qualify for service, they must be a South African-owned business. They must be more than 51% owned by a black person, and also they must be compliant. In terms of the support that we provided in this region, is the business development support in terms of the start of helping a business to start and grow their businesses, and we assist them from business planning to provision of technical support in order for them to grow the business. And in there, we also provide them with the grant funding where they procure tools and stock in order to grow their businesses. So under grant funding, we've got 4 instruments, which is Township Business Renewal Program for the procurement of equipment, the Community Fund. It assists SMMEs to procure stock and working tools, the Cooperative Assistance Program. It assists SMMEs to procure stock and equipment for co-ops, and also the informal traders. It assists SMMEs to procure equipment and stock. In terms of what we've done in this region as GEP, we have assisted 309 SMMEs with the business development support. The interventions that were done were implementation of quality management systems, implementation of financial management systems, the stock management systems, the marketing tools, and all the training that is required to take the business into another level. We've spent about 7.6 million assisting SMMEs with business development support. And then in terms of the grant provision to SMMEs in the region, we have assisted a total of 43 SMMEs with the township business renewal support to the value of 1.8 million. With the cooperative assistant, we also assisted 37 cooperatives, and we provided them with a grant funding to purchase stock or equipment to the value of 271,000. In terms of the community fund, we also assisted 29 SMMEs to the value of 132,000. The informal traders in this region, we assisted 44 informal traders to the value of 217,000. And also we had a waste management projects that we had. In that project, we assisted 23 SMMEs and cooperative to grow their businesses. And they needed the skills like business management training, the financial management training, and they also needed to be assisted with the development of business plan. And also in order to grow and manage their businesses, they needed computer and software that is relevant into the waste management business. They were also assisted to develop a waste management system or ISO 14000, which is an environmental standard. So this is the summary in total. In terms of our grant support in this region, we have assisted 153 SMMEs to the value of 2.4 million. And also we would like to mention that there are also challenges that limit the extent of the work that we do in this region, is that we have budget limitations, and then as such, sometimes we have to delay the support to SMMEs to the new financial year once they will run out of budget. And then this actually results in many complaints that we ended up getting, that we are not much efficient, but the limiting factor is the budget. We have a limited budget in every year. Once we run out of that budget, the SMMEs, we have to roll to the following year. We just wanted to share also one success story of a company, of one company, Black Dope Original, a company that is into graphic design. That company had challenges. They were unable to take on new opportunities because they had limited equipment. They couldn't respond to the opportunities that were available. They came to GEP, and GEP supported them with a grant funding support that enabled them to buy an equipment, and also they were assisted with a 12,000 rand for working capital through the COVID relief fund. And as a result, that business has expanded, and actually now has secured a space in one of the shopping centers within Vereeniging, and they have managed to employ an additional person. I think the last slide, it talks to the process that we take for anybody to access services from GEP, that you've got 2 entrance points. You can either go through GEP online and apply online. If you are unable to do so, you walk into a GEP office and then you will be assisted to apply online. And once your application is been received, there will be a business analyst that will be assessing your business, making sure that then we apply a holistic approach. We don't only focus on the initial application, but look at your business holistically and identify your pain points and what is needed to grow your business. That is, in the nutshell, the work that we've done at Citibank and the GEP process. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. As we welcome onto the stage, says Tshwane Automotive Special Economic Zone. Let us welcome Councillor Billy Mukhoro, who has joined us, MEC and Portfolio Committee members. Councillor Billy Mukhoro is the ward councillor of this ward that you are in. Thank you for joining us. Neriso kupuru yemele mara wezi cancel. But thank you. Lamziva Councillor walona kera. Lamziva. Bala baba na Ntate Mukhoro. Your people. Ay, Ntate Mukhoro ki bua le wena. Batho ba bara ba o bona. Bara ba o bona. Your people. Nangu cancel. Nasi sibonda same. Lisikara limiti la miti kajeku. Thank you very much. Go ahead with the presentation. We continue with our meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Bianca Kortenuven-Jagger. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Bianca Kortenuven-Jagger. I'm representing the Tshwane Auto SEZ. We are in the group, the baby or the toddler. We were established in 2020, in May 2020. And the key objective of the Tshwane Special Economic Zone is the creation of infrastructure complexes, the support of initiatives within the automotive sector to enhance the automotive sector in South Africa, and ensure that we get foreign direct investment into South Africa and local investment, and increase investment opportunities within the region of Tshwane. And that's why we were established. So in 2020, we got the mandate to start the construction of a special economic zone. Some of you will know where Ford is in Silverton. So we're literally just next to Ford in Silverton. And we started with the construction of manufacturing facilities that would support the Ford new Ranger Bakkie that was launched in 2022. So to date, the project has basically achieved a job creation to the value of more than 8,000 jobs. 5,000 of these jobs, more than 5,000 of these jobs were in the construction sector, and more than 3,000 of these jobs were in the permanent value chain, the companies that's invested in the park, the automotive manufacturing companies, has created more than 3,000 jobs because of this investment by government. This is an investment by both a local, provincial and national government. So for the first phase, government invested more than 3.9 billion rand into the project, but through that, private sector invested 5.6 billion directly into the zone, and Ford Motor Company invested a further 16 billion rand. And late last year, Ford also announced an additional 5.2 billion rand investment within the zone. So to date, these are the type of numbers we've been achieving, and what was critical for us at that stage was to ensure, whilst we're creating these jobs, whilst we're creating this investment, that the local communities around the city of Tshwane is involved in the project. So we developed a social compact with the local surrounding communities for the project, and we ensured that even from the construction packages that we had, that we involved the local communities in the project. So overall to date, 1.7 billion rand of the tenders that went out for construction was allocated specifically to SMMEs in the township communities, in the surrounding township communities. I think it is really critical for us, and what we saw that worked is that we really on the ground with the community, supporting them, and we're doing training programs with them. We also ask the companies to do training programs with them. We do SMME training with these companies as well. These are just some of the pictures in 2020, which when you would have gotten there, there was nothing there. And now we're sitting in 2024. These are some of the pictures of the facilities that we have up there. Even the Ford chassis for the Ranger is being produced in these facilities, and currently these 10 investors with an 11th investor also coming in now as we speak. We're also looking at putting solar on all the facilities. So solar energy is also important for us, and that's also where we get some of the SMMEs involved with the getting these projects online. Additional, because we now have concluded the first phase, we're moving into a second phase, and critical for us is also developing our own center of excellence. Later in this year, we will also be launching a training academy for the zone, and there we will do various types of training from automotive through to construction to energy training in this academy. Also focused not just on individuals but SMMEs in the sector as well. Just in terms of our quarterly report, year-to-date progress, there's one target that we didn't achieve for the quarter, but overall for the year we've achieved the target. We focus on the amount of days we take to pay SMMEs. Our target is 14, and we're currently sitting at 8 days turnaround time to pay SMMEs. Now, these are SMMEs in the construction sector. You need to review all those, the work that the SMMEs are doing, and currently we're sitting there at 8 days. We received a clean audit. That was a target for quarter 2. Number of SMMEs supported in the automotive value chain. Our annual target is 30, and in quarter 3 we were already sitting at 31. I think as we speak we're sitting at 29 today. And then people trained within the value chain, we're sitting at 427. There's some training still taking place as we speak. So our total target there is 500 for the year. Then just for this, also for this quarter, jobs created. We've created in the construction, out of the 313 for this quarter under review, we created 106 construction jobs just for this quarter. And then in terms of SMME packages, our target is to at least award 30% of the construction packages. We're currently sitting at a 42% packages awarded. So just for this quarter, we have awarded more than 30 SMME packages to a value of about 60 million rand. Then we're also doing the mentoring and coaching. There we're also on track to reach our quarter 4 target. Our annual target is 30, and we're sitting at 26 there. Number of permanent jobs, our target for this year, because all the factories were already up and running. The previous year was only 100, but we did overachieve that because some of the companies in the zone received more work from Ford than what was anticipated, so they had to create extra jobs. Just for this quarter, we've created 74 of those jobs, and all 74 of those jobs are youth jobs for people in youth. The one target that we didn't achieve this quarter was the investment. We didn't have an investment value for this quarter. However, our year-to-date target, our annual target is 500 million, and we're already sitting at an investment value from the private sector of 918 million as we speak. Thank you, Chair. I think that is, in summary, Tazes. Thank you very much.
This table is full. Please, Member Bidenhouse, can you please switch off that? I forgot to switch off. Hello, Sanbanang. I'm back again. Thank you very much to Mamelane. Let me thank the MEC and the team from the department and its entities for the presentation, and appreciate the work that the department and its entities is doing. We see through your reports. We hope that when we do oversight, we will be able to see by the eye the work that you are reporting to us that you are doing. We do appreciate that you're striving to reach your targets, which is highly applaudable, and we hope that the report is the true reflection of the work that you guys are doing. It is really appreciated. We are now opening up engagement with all of you. I can get a ball panel in town. So, bangoting babatang ubutsa dipotso. Re tlo etsa jwalo. Remember le tla tla manage the process. Why sharper process? Process ya high. He's learned to master it. So, neruko by roving mic, guys. Stand. Roving mic. Literally a member litwalo. Afuluke ayokotasi. I manage the stakeholders. I'm not sure if any of our members want to ask questions. We are covered. We did look at the report in our portfolio committee meeting. There were questions asked, clarities were given. So now it's your time. The purpose of bringing these reports to you, our community members and the public, is to showcase the work that your government is doing. And for you to engage with your government. I get it, when we are sitting there by the legislature, we represent you. We don't represent ourselves. Because Lona Litenia's Toma, and we agreed to be too much. So we are here to say to you, this is the work that the department has done. What are your views, questions, clarity-seeking questions that you want to ask, including suggestions on how to do better? Because through you, we are able to do better. If you don't tell us how to do and represent you better, so we are here. Talk to us. You are giving the reports. Thank you very much. Member Tribe, I hand over to you, Manesu.
No, thank you very much. Ngwana kwae. Akere le motho ile modula stulo. Ipapatelle ke batla le ipapatelle matsore. E re report tse di presentiwa ne lu tloeletsa ke. Ke le bona hore ne lu tloeletse. Jaaka modula stulo a tlhalositse. Di reporto tse di tlisiwa mo lona. Akere kholomente ke kholomente ya lona. Akere. So o tle mo kholomente a ileletse favor. Akere. Ra batla hore lona le badudi ba mo Sidibei le khono buisana le kholomente ya lona ka lenaneo le le tsamaisanang le ditshebeletso tsa lefapha le loren le lebane le tlhabollogo ya ikonomi ya rona. Akere ikonomi ya lona hona le ba bang mo lona mo bana le dikgwebo tse nyane tse loren di mo magareng le tse loren di godile. Akere re ba tlo re lefapha le with all of these reports tse loren ba di ntshitse mo pela lona le buisane le tsona. But I just want to caution a ke re nako e nngwe re na le temptation ya go batla go raisa di-issues tse e le goreng a di a lebana le di-presentation tse di editsweng in this meeting a ke re so kopano e ya rona it's not a mayoral in Bizo ya ka mora in Fuleni or ka mora Sedibeng a ke re e kopano a e shabane le ditshebeletso tse di fiwang ke municipality bo metsi motlakase e dila ka leruo a ke re re batla gore no le re bolelle gore lona le nana re report tse di presentileng tse di le affecta yang ke mo le bonang bošaedi mo kae le nana gore lefapha le ka lokisa mo kae a ke re ya utlwala bagolo ya so re tlo nka matsogo a ke re ro starta ka mo ntlheng e ya ka e ko lefa di-number tse la di tshwara a ke re di-number tse la di tshwara and then a re fetsa re tla ka mo same thing re batla gore le bue in any language a ke re if o batla go bua Setswana o batla go bua Sotho o batla go bua Sepedi Zulu Shangane Ndebele Seswati Afrikaans English it's okay a ke re mare ntla ha o kgone e beya o skwa kra monyetla o fetile a re batla gore monyetla o le fete a ke re le lona bo ntate le bo mme ko morao lo bua ke ya re batla gore le bueng so a re tse matsogo ka mo ntate mo lo nna number 1 my brother ne ya le Theos number 2 next door ya hao number 3 ntate ka kepe ntate ka kepe ready number 4 again mega mole number 5 ntate number 6 number 7 ka kepe yeah 7 again number 8 ka mo morao ka mo 8 e ba fetho le bolelengu ke na le 8 ka mo 9 okay mama yona number 9 agere mama azwa tsu re batla bomme a go lemise matso number 8 agere ke ntatole number 9 okay oh ntate ke number 9 mme re batla mme o mme number 10 ke mme agere number 10 ke mme agere le tshwere di number re na le 10 ka a re tleng ka re batla batjha e bile re batla bomme batjha a le sa ipuelle le tla buela ka mang o zo e thola kanjani ya ba no ele sa ipuelle lolla ko strateng re le fa monyetla gore le buele emtsiki eno mona emisi o ke motjha o mama o tlo nna number 1 number 2 mama number 2 number 3 my brother number 4 5 6 yeah 7 my brother wa kepe 8 kumra 8 ne my brother number 8 yeah number 8 9 mara wo mme ba imelise koga number 10 agere so re na le 10 o ka re ke tlo ikgethela batjha mama o lo bua something a ntwe merunu o bua ya dlala okay o re tshware 10 ka magere oh 11 ngwaneso 12 and then agere 13 so no we're not 12 oh so ndato go ra re ke 12 re feleletsa ka ntate 12 10 12 ara starting ka number 1 so ara agree maholo ne ara ba tlo le limita ka nako agere because re na le matso a 22 can we agree re fana ka 2 minutes is it okay Eh? Okay? Le batla 3 minutes. Ah, 5 it ronna the whole day. Ara agreeing 3 minutes, ne? Middle ground, 3 minutes, wa agreeable, like straight to the point. Thank you very much. Ara start with number 1. Number 1, how simon or what's a little lao if on a company or on a look web. Why woo alone, like or hono is or rakwebo, or maybe you are in another sector. Hono it, ne? Ralewo.
Greetings to everyone. My name is Bongani Kidon Buthelezi from Hardcore Tires and Repairs. I'm a professional boxer, former IBO world champion. So I lost that due to being inactive because of COVID-19. Then I registered a company with my wife. Then we first started off with a business management training initiative, which was NYTA. Went through that training. Then afterwards, we never had any funding from it. Then for my own money, I bought the machinery, tire fitting and balancing machines. Last year, we went to the GEP business training initiative. That was in May. Then we went through that training. Still, we complied, whatsoever compliance they wanted, we complied. There's never have been anybody that has been funded ever since. And I was just waiting for stock. I just wanted stock because I already have equipment in it. But then nothing has happened. Even still now, those people that I was part of the initiative with, which I was in training with, none of them had any funding whatsoever from GEP. So now I'm actually concerned about the figure that she was like she was talking about, as to which companies did they fund. Because even from last year, from last year initiative, there's never been any company that's been funded. So now I just want to know which companies are those, and where were those ones that he showed, that those graphic companies, that where are they to come and say that, you know what, yes, this has happened, they did fund us and that, or is it because it's you choosing the companies because of your own benefits? Thank you.
Number 2. Kana libitso ke mang out? Libitso la o kana
Gideon Buthelezi.
Gideon.
Yebo.
All right. Number 2.
Dumelang batswadi. Nna ka libitso ke Ditshwaneng Ndaba. Ke na le business ya car wash and project. Le nna ne kopa ho botsa tabeng ya GEP. GEP o tloa ka 2018. Since re signa memorandum of agreement ya go batla mfunda. Even le ka jeno ka 2014 aba swetse next. Every time I ke ya mo ba dilo ba ntsetsa ka backlog go tloa 2018. So ne ke batla ho tseba hore ke tabe re etsang jwang. Thank you batswadi.
Number 3. Let's take number 3.
A re lebohe lebitso ke Mokone wa Thulo from the 8 Ball. Well, I ke tsebe ke be potso tsa ka jwa. A re ke be so nna ko mongwe wa batho ba ileng ba ba lhlonolo ifinga e be ya jwalo ka thola thusonyana e itseng ho tswa ko gap. Mare bothata ba thuso ya gap ke ena ha o apply ba o tlisetsa business analyst hore tlo kopana le wena. And then how qeta o qoqa le yona, because rona ne re apply ne re batla shelter stock ne re sa batle ntho tse ngata. And bona they felt hore no ba keke ba re fa shelter stock ma re batla re fa shelter equipment. Now because ke grant ha ona re tlo e hana, so re nkile equipment e. Now but ona le equipment e dutsing e sa sebetsing because ha ona stock. And then the second thing e ba yentseng ko gap ba re tlisetsa point of sale. Ering how we Google a point of sale ya teng It's 11,500 from Ikoka. Yet runa resign invoice at 34,000. Now 34,000 yenu nkabe ki rekile stoko ka nna ka sebedisa calculate. Bothata ba point of sale ba itlisang ke hore e batla Wi-Fi hore o e sebedise. E batla o patela 860 ka kgwedi from the service provider e leng Ikoka. So ha ra e sebedisa e dutse ipaketswe mo. Ha re complain ko gap ba re tlisetsa another point of sale. I'm not sure ena ha yona ke bokae because e betere o feta yana. Yet shelter re batlang ke a stock ha re batle ntho tse. So potso ke ena hore ke mang a ntse a ja ha ntse re tlisetswa di point of sale re sa thole stock because re batla stock se ntho tsena. Ke rana business jwang ke sna stock. La ha o ka ntlisetsa di equipment tsa lefatshe kaofela until ke thola stock di tlo khabisa mo, then be re etsa ke o rekisa tsona equipment tseno hore ke thole stock be le re useless.
Sanbonani, ke leboha ke dumedise MEC le ba lefapha la hae. Councillor, protocol, all protocol observed. Nna ka lebitso ke Vosmoze Mbele, ke tswa Husli Service Providers. Ke dila ka creative art. Creative art, ka di actors, di dancers, di singers, di baetsang di poeme jwalo jwalo. Ke a ngola ebile ke kopantshitse le ba crafting. Mo company ya Husli Service Providers. Ebile ke le ka hohle hore bana ba banyanyane ba lo hlaya ho di big screen ho di SABC 1 SABC 2 ETV di toring tse fapafapaneng ke le ka hohle ke a tseba hore re a sokola ebile ka mona re sokola especially when it comes to the camera tse re batlang ho di sebedisa actually re ke re equipment hobane ha nka di bala one by one di taba ngata ke equipment. And how hloka dintho tsena di tlo hloka ho bena le tjhelete ka pokotong. Ha o ka ya ho bo ma GEP mane ba tla o botsa o sona le bokae. O so yentse bokae. Ha o soka o etsa bokana ke ra kgona ho thusa until bo fitlelle mo. O tla tlameha ho banka selemo kaofela. Jwale ke potso re ha ke sebetse ha ba sebetse bana bana kaofela rona re sebetse ho tlo kgonahala hore na ho banke selemo kaofela hore ke tlo kgona ho thola di funds tse hore ke di sebedise na. So ha o kgonahale ha ke tsebe hore re ka thuseha jwang hore re fumane dintho tse kang tseno. Ke hlokometse haholo holo re today ke thabile ha le tlile kwano. Ke hlokometse hore dikgwebo di ngata ka re ho motse wa Boipatong. Ibile ke thabela le portfolio committee e tlile ka ro Boipatong. Ene ke nahana hore ha se yona ya pele e tlileng from the officing tse fapafapaneng from provincial office. Tsentse di bua ka hore ha re kgothalletswe ho etsa dikgobo tsa rona. Empa ntwe ke hlokomelang haholo ke di workshop le di training tse re sa di fumaneng. Ha o batla ho ya ho di training o tlo thapalama o ye Franageng mara o sebetse. Kapa palama o ye Joburg ha o sebetse but re itse di service tsa mmuso wa rona di tle bathong. Re na le community hall kene re na le di boardroom ka mane tse lo re di training di ka tshwarwa mane re kgone ho fumana di training e re di application tsena ha di tla re kgone ho di tlatsa hobane neng ba tlo ha o wena ha o comply ha o sisanda o shota ka di document so and so ha o tlamela o di kopanya ha o tsebe next o le fifi motho o tlamela nga o tsetse o batla 3,000 ka pampiri e1. So re a kopa nna e ke kopang haholo ke insista fela hore ha re ka fumantshwa di training di tle ho rona haufinyana re kgone ho di attenda so that re tlo kgona ho comply re kgone ho apply la di funds tsena re di fumane. Ke a leboha. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, Program Director Galebo. Libizzo la ka ke Rakgadi Sietsi. Ke tswa company e bitswang Khutlo Tharo Skills and Business Development Agency. This company is running in incubation for SMMEs since 2009 till date. Re ntse re leka ho bona re fetola maphelo a batho jwang. Ya pele nka qalang ho bua ka nako gore on our database ya Khutlo Tharo we have more than 700 SMMEs. Ba ile horeng they are registered on our database. Mara ha ke sheba di presentation mo ha ke bone le di target re imita even le quarter ya batho ba, meaning almost more than 75% of our SMMEs who they are not benefiting. If only 25% ba yona hlammo ka mantswe ma hona le mathata. But ke bone one of the slides tsa GEP they've indicated hore bothata gore budget e tliswang in Sedibeng it's not enough. Ke nana hore ke yona ntho e tla lo dula fatshe program director e go lo shebuwa hore as much as Gauteng ina le di 5 corridors, these other 4 corridors mhlomo le Kenya haholo ekele adjusting the budget ya Sedibeng. Sedibeng se seholo re bangata empa re lwanela mafufurutsane bana ba yeso ekele re shebeng. Renali NCI Eloring is a partner, it's partnered with Khutlo Tharo because we're also having an incubation in our construction sector. Kara construction renali more than 300 women who are registered on our database. And every time when we listen to our president, 40% must be procured from women in construction. Marari boni. Bomme bana na berena le bona ba 300. They are fully compliant. Bana le tsona di CIDB, bana le di NHBRC yo koida. And baba mbabona boholo babona ba thusitswe ke yona GEP because u bua nnete since re qala this incubation. Rona se Khutlo Tharo re thotse re fihlelleya GEP re utlwa. Ha re fihla re lla re na le di SMS 50, say 100 that needs your support. Ka nnete GEP ya phallela, but unfortunately ha e khone reach the numbers tse yang ho tsona. Re ka be proposal ya 100 mo only 20 will be assisted. Hobane ba tla jwetsa hore budget constraints, we don't have enough. And remember, la re ka ya re le Khutlo Tharo ha ba tla mo thusa only batho ba tswang ka Khutlo Tharo. Even the working clients, they need to be assisted. So at the end of the day, the budget ha be sufficient. Re kopa le shebe bana ba yeso. And also ke santse ke lo into construction. Re na le di project tse ngata tse tsalang, development is coming Sedibeng. Ho na le development tse tsalang R59 no tsa makamane. Ho na le di tracker mo. But our local SMMEs are not benefiting. People are having compliances, your quite they're expensive, but at the end of the day, have participate. Ebe one department, what type of an assistance can you bring? Especially if you have a relationship between infrastructure, human settlement, DDM, district development model, so that all the departments that are affected, how can we assist one another? There's a lot. Renali automotive, we started incubation automotive 2016. 30 back-end mechanics, but the equipment is through GEP. They are stuck because the challenge the infrastructure. The workshops they don't comply with RMI. So hloka thuso hulona department. Ha hululu hloka thuso ke hloka mathupano wa tseba. I've been knocking. Department of Economic Development to say, can't we partner so that the thusana on the ground? Program director ke bona sonto mbonsa nako. Who the automotive mo wanted to do the automotive hubs. As much eliteng chamdo, eliteng Tshwane, Sedibeng le yona ga e hloka, re hloka di automotive hubs bana ba yeso. Re na le program e ntse re le busy ka yona dispenser shop. Currently we have more than 300 SMMEs, ba ntse ba thola di 10,500. Mare ke bona kotsi muso wa rona wa sebetsa wa ba fa batho ditšhelete, mare we don't have monitoring and evaluation system in place. Batho ba rona ba trainwa le ka di business, they are not even into the retail stores. You are not even aware hore batho ba nka di 10,000 tsa muso be ba tsama ba lo reka di washing machine mare ba itse ba nka tšhelete for stock. Motho e hlokang samanita ba sa ithole. Re kopa re le Khutlo Tharo ra e availa hore re kopa o thusa muso wa rona ka monitoring and evaluation so that batho ba tshwaneleang ke di grant tse ba di tholo ba ne di qetela di thola ke bagotsi ba rona ho feta batho ba di hlokang. In closing, Re na le SIDA hona jwale. Di WhatsApp-ong tsa rona ho tletse di form tsa SIDA. Hana jwale ke tloa nna ke tloa Civic Theatre because we have got partnership with the Ben district. Ibile sekgutlo tharo re butse mama to say people ba batlang ho apply for this grant tsa di 250. Tlohong re bona re le thusa jwang. But unfortunately, batho ba rona ha ba qualify. Hona le re tipi engata inthong tse ding tse etsahalang. And ya o qetela gore why dintho re di thola lata? Why batho ba thola di formo kapa opportunity to setse 2 days towards the closing date? Hobane yona sifa eo ya kwalwa hosane. Batho ba di nke ka di financial statement ka nako e. Ba mathe ba lo batla di quotation ka nako e. Ka nnete tse ding tsa dintho di bohloko. Re kopa office ya SIDA ka hara Sedibeng. Ke a leboha.
All right. Number 6. Number 6.
Thank you very much. I would like to thank the opportunity. Firstly, I would like to greet the panel, the chairperson, the portfolios, the councillor of the ward, and any other leadership in Karasbak. My name is Katleho, my surname is Nkambule. I am a director from Kambule's Legacy Trading and Construction Company. I wouldn't state much on what the company does, but it's a general company. We do a lot of things. I would not also disclose my other portfolio into my profession because it's a conflict. But we are not there. The first point that I want to raise is that Dibui Mona Dibuile Merahadi, you've said a lot, you said mouthful. At some point, I have looked into the report. I think if you can check, a lot of speakers here, they dwell much on the concerns around the GEP. But if you look at the report talks to the economy of Sedibeng. And much of the report, or majority of the report, talks to the other side of the economy in Gauteng. Because you look at it in a special economic zones, ya Kotshwane. The automotive, Leona ya Kotshwane. You look at the gambling board, Keko Ekuruleni. Most Sedibeng, all what you do is, my thinking is that the report here today, your portfolio committee, is one of those telling what they just need to comply. And so that we sponsor our concerns and suggestions, and then business as usual, but if you can listen to the concerns and turn them around, the people of, especially in this, because it's Boipatong, but I understand that there are other residences from other areas. But if these concerns can be listened to, you look at the businesses, they are now reverting into funding. But Habasa is a business. They are always interested into applying for funding. How do you run a business when you always funding, you apply? Funding, you apply. It shows that Sedibeng is not empowered economically. You look at this report does not talk to Sedibeng. Only the numbers more 27, 7. You can't be talking about a business, you can't be talking about a region, and then Ubuaka 7, 27 women. That is not serious. And Kiamona GOT, in terms of GOT, you know, there is compliance. I dispute that. It's just that the report is a summary. Because it talks to achieve certain targets. It achieve those targets. You look at the youth, it has a target of 50%, if I'm not mistaken. It underperformed by 37%. How na resolution how are you going to assist the youth? You know today the youth has a challenge. The challenge is tsengata. The youth has challenges of intoxication, drugs and alcohol and everything else. But when you put your stats there, you just put your stat and then you don't say that in Citibank, this is the line of communication that we are going to implement in order to intervene to make sure that the economy of Citibank, especially around, that we are going to improve it. So there's no line of communication. That is why I'm saying this is one of those that you're just going to say, we have met with the region and this is what they have said and then you're fit. But listen to our concerns. The GEP, a report, that report, that is not a report, and that report does not reflect, is not a true reflection. As I'm standing here, I'm still waiting for my response for funding, and this funding is different. Una le batho ba batla dithuso, una le batho ba batla investment, and. But how can you fail to satisfy all of them, or how can you fail at least to meet half of them? And the happy haina resolution, because what is said there is that the budget inyane ofeta the demand. How do you then say that the budget inyane ofeta demand? Then what is the purpose of bringing GEP in Citibank? Why is I do somewhere else? So that we can, so that the people of Citibank can fight for their own economy. When we talk about economy, we talk about the basic needs of human beings. We cannot talk about the economy of Citibank, but then you bring the economy of Ekurhuleni and report for us about the economy of Ekurhuleni. What do you do for the economy of Citibank? The training they've never happened. In Citibank, I know that a lot of SMMEs do not undergo training. A lot of SMMEs are not engaged in this kind of training, different kind of trainings. If they are there in the report, then we must ask ourselves questions. Because we have a lot of companies trying to establish themselves. They can't because Havana training and that budget is there. Iakai that budget. So those are the questions that we are asking. If you are saying you are training women, you are training the youth, and you have a certain a target that you have achieved, the SMMEs that are sitting in here and the organizations that advocate for them or advocate for youth and women in terms of cooperatives, then we must ask them questions. Because if you are saying you have reached those targets and they are here today and they are complaining, then we must ask questions. So in closing, what I'm requesting is that, because you have stated that we must also refer negative suggestions. As Citibank, we don't have an intercommunication with the Gauteng, your departments, different departments. All what we hear, there would be companies coming in doing their presentation because and then the next thing back in Basebet. We don't have a lot or a majority of people in the community, those which are yes, those which can within the region. You find people coming out from Pretoria, from Polokwane, they come in here and then they work. We must eat those crumbs because we are SMMEs. That has to be changed. You need to assist us. You need to come to party. You need to find a mechanism of coming to Citibank and carry Citibank as your baby, because we have this is an economical hub in South Africa. Thank you very much.
Paolo, intentional rona so lo limita ka nako a ke re batla romo lomong a ntshe dintlha tsa batho dintsha. But we are also mindful of time because there's a number of other speakers. Again, so that is why na re tla ka molao wa 3 minutes or regulate. I think if we can focus our input, it's going to assist us. Again, Arengo number 7.
Dumelang, ka lebitso ke Kagiso, ke director ya SMMP2 Ltd. Re etsa construction. Bothata ba ka ke GEP. GEP ya ama ho re thusa, but then tse ding tsa dintho tse le horeng ofisi ya GEP ya di etsa ha di utlwisi monate. Point number 1, ke applyile GEP last year, ka March. Ke ba njwetsa hore ba na le constraint ya budget. Fast forward, a year later, ke na le di reference number tse 2 hona jwale. The reference number tsaka ha di so approve ke GEP. And yet they sit here, they give us a magical mathematics ya bona ya hore ba fundile di companies 30% or 25 what not. Stop lying to us as a belief, because we are fed up. Ke applyile GEP ever since I was youth. Se bile ke hlaile tedu, se bile ke hodisitse ngwana, ke emetse funding ya 2019. We are fed up. And legislature ya le kopa hle. Tlohelang ho tla mona le tlo re bontsha hore how fancy are you. We want action. We don't want your fancy lifestyle. GEP, in closing, please deliver, please check our reference, please check your database. We do apply online, we do go to Vereeniging office. The way last week when I went to GEP, they told me already they didn't have budget. They are waiting for a budget from Jimeston. Surprise, surprise, I was in Johannesburg on Monday. They didn't know anything about GEP and Vereeniging. Please stop lying to us as a belief.
Number 8, Yakin.
Number 8.
Sanbonani dumelang. Ke tankiso ka lebitso ke moahi wa mona Boipatong. Ke na le concern ka ntateneng a bua ka waste. Re na le matiki ka ra tshirela motseng wa Boipatong. Mara ntate a bua mo bua ka hore ba trainer batho ka taba tsa.
Tsogema, lebitso.
Tankiso nnete.
Tankiso.
Nnete yebo. Ntate o buile mo ka taba ya di waste management, the way ba fanang ka di training ka teng. Ke a makala di training tse tsa bona tsa waste di fella ka yo bane gona mo re dulang teng ho bohlaso. So ene ke opola hore department ane ka tla mo ya ruta batho ka wasted source. Ke mo batho ba neng ba ka kgona ho benefita teng. Ka mane ka ntle ha o sheba le China ke la ne la ipapala ke le dilang ka company ya waste, and yet government ya rona e thotse ho thwe rona re botswa re etse nix ka ra motse. Re tla kena jwang ka ga le China le ho na le directives tse lo reng lona government a re apply re batla di factory tse empty hore le re thuse re kene ho tsona. Ha le kgone re funda re kene ka ra tsona. And ntwe bohloko ke hore hona le di foreigners tse kgonang ho kena ka ra country di kgone ho access ntho tsa rona batho ba Mzansi re sa etse nix. Ha le qeta lebelo le rona re xenophobic. Ke tla tabeng ya ditaere hona le batho ba recyclelang ditaere. Ke o mongwe wa batho ba neng ba recyclela ditaere ka tlasa Redisa ile ya shwa e bolawa ke lona mmuso lona batho ba dutse mo ditafoleng. Ha le qeta le batla rona re nke ditaere tshirela re di ise Hammanskraal ho group e bitswang Group Mathe. Group Mathe e hole le rona re dula Vale. Nka se tloe mona ka taere tse 20 ke di palamisitse lori motho wa ba mbatla 700. Ha ke fihla mane ba mpatla 900 rand. So di figures tsa lona ha di kopane at all. Ke kopa le bue ntho straight. Hape mo le bua ka re agricultural hub. Mara re checka rena agro processing plant. Ka raval e loreng e kgona ho traina batho ka dijo gore ba tsebe go ne dijo di ska tsa senyea hapong kapa ha o tla tabeng ya di process ba di tsamaisa jwang a ke le bue ntwe straight gore na le re thusa jwang re le ba ahi ba Vale ska la re tlela ka di figures tse tsalang ka ntle kwa tsa batho ba East Rand mo lokiswang di train mo ha re lokisi di train re industrial hub ye tshwereng dijo le steel re batla ho ipona le rona re manufacturer dintho tsa steel tse le reng di a rekiswa di kgona ho tsamaya di ntshuwa di rentshetsa pele.
Number 9.
Dumela. Nna ke Thulane Zondo ke dula hona mona wa Boipatong. I'm a director of my own company. I'm owning a company that is called Tonesto Projects and Services.
Thulane mapele. Karo ora tlaka-tlakantsha. Ntatolo ntwe grey. Nele na number 9 again, and then ebe gona le mme ko bofelong re le ke number 10. So a re ba tlo re agere ne re kopile re lemise matsoho ba golo So a re batlo tlhakatlhakantsha kopano ya rona akere. So a re feng tatolo ntho e grey, a re sammane re na le monyetla re feditse everybody. Re tla boela go lona akere. O re ska e se.
Okay.
O nna mo la ona mo. O rapta system e ka etsa bjang. A re tse wena ntate.
Dumela. Nna ke Moses Mareletse from company ke director ya Ancient Moss Wood Products whereby we manufacture furniture ka pallet. So my concern ke GEP ke na le fela potso A1 for GEP go turn around time ya bona ke eng cause ke neneng cause ke la ka apply last year ka June and then ka se ka thola feedback and then ka ya ho bona di officing and then ba ba mfa reference number and then ha ntse ke ya for follow up ntse ba njwetsa fela ga ba tla khutela ho nna so ne kopa fela o tseba go turn around time ya GEP ke neneng. Thank you.
Ana le bitso la ntate ke mang?
Ke Moses wa Mareletse.
Moses.
Thank you.
A re go number 10 my sister.
Molweni, igama lam ndinguyonela Phaphani, mna ndiphuma e-Eastern Cape eMthatha. Ndizocela ubuza la ndiva abantu kuthethwa ngokwecandelo lezolimo. Mna ndinomdla wecandelo lezolimo. So into endifuna ukuyibuza njeba ndiphuma e-Eastern Cape ndinomdla wecandelo lezolimo lapha ndiyarenta ndingakwazi na ukuba ndiqale ibhizinesi yami yokulima after isi approved ndikwazi ukumovela to Eastern Cape apho ndiyaziyo uba izinto zami zisothethe ndipermanent e-Eastern Cape because lapha ndihlala khona ndingamuva anytime. So ndibuzela uba ke ndingakwazi na ukuthi xa seyiqalile ibhizinesi yami ye-agriculture ndimove to Eastern Cape.
Okay, thank you very much. Number 10. Again. So referees this. Ardzing number 1 aronagam. Yeah. Ardzing number 1 this side.
Dumelang.
Arutlwele maholo agere. Maholo. Re kopa rutlweleng agere.
Dumelang baholo. Nna ke Mathapelo Mokoena. Ke kopa botsa hore na legislature ska ha e fanne ka di project ka ga Sedibeng. Ba etsa follow up na because I was one of the people ba eleng hore I was working at Johan Hens Clinic under EPWP. But our contract were terminated with immediate effect. We never know the reason for that. And then government of Runa, I try by all means to shebe Sedibeng. Rabana vale hangata shejwe. Ntho tse ngata di etsala Soweto di etsala. So vale ka ha exist mare ka vale re na le history ya vale hape. And ntho e nngwe hape nna ke ne ke kopa ho thuswa mabapi le pleke ke dulang ho yona. Ke rata garden, ke rata garden ne. So hona le pleke ke leng ka etsa di ka ikopa ho ward councillor ya ka. And then ba nkana ka enka, but the problem is ha ke tla legislature ba njwetsa I must have a document, but pleke ya teng ke passage fela ha ona owner. So ha ke botsa private company gona ha le nthusa ho cleaner because it's a dumping site. Bare ba batla 4,500. So you can imagine hore ha ke sena tšhelete ke tlo etsa jwang taba e jwalo. So nna ke kopa le re thuse bathong. Rona batho ba vala re shejwe ho hang ha re shejwe. Ke a leboha.
Okay, number 2.
Dumelang ke le dumedisa. Ke le hlomphile ditafuleng mo. Nna ke concern ka GEP. Ke Poshia Mahungu from Vanderbijlpark. Ke na le cleaning company and ke manufacturer cleaning detergent. Since ke submita dintho tsa ka 2017 ko GEP ke kopa grants di grant until hona jwale ha ke soka ke thola letho. Jwale ke a makala ha ke bona hore ho na le batho ba bang ba e tholang thuso. So ne ke kopa hore ba re hlalosetse hore mohlomong rona re sa e tholeng thuso, mohlomong ha re etse ntho tse batho ba bang ba di etsang, kapa re fosa kae ha re tsebe, because re bangata re le bomme ra kopana ka vale ka mone. Bomme ba bangata be re kopana le bona ba ka hara di-business, re alla ka GEP re le bangata. Ha se rona fela re le mona, empa fela hore ha ba yo ka sheko tje, but ke a makala ha ke bona hona le batho ba thuseyang. Jwale ke botsa hore GEP hore rona re etse jwang hore re kgone ho thuseha. Ke a leboha.
Re lebohile Mama Poshia, number 3. It's a number 3.
Good afternoon. My name is Eric Mlambo. I'm from Ward 118 in Zandspruit. The first question is, I have a restaurant in the township and I've made several applications with JEP. The concern is that we do get the reference numbers, but we don't get the follow-up to say declined or this is where you are lacking. We would really like you to consider to provide us with feedback so that we know where we are lacking and we can improve on that end. The second area, to the chairperson, we wrote a letter requesting assistance with the liquor applications, because when we make the liquor applications for our facilities, we don't get responses, and we wrote as a group asking your intervention on that end, because we've got proof and proof of paying more than 2,000 rand for applications. I paid in 2020 June. Today I have not received even an official response to say it's been declined or this is where we are lacking so that we can intervene. And the request that you sent that the members come here, most of them were angry. They felt that you will be addressing the issues of this area. You won't be addressing their issues and they refuse to come. Lastly, I just wanted to make an input on the issue of around the cradle of humankind because it's closer to us. I know that within the area there is the grass that is used for roofing. I hope you could consider to give some of the SMMEs the opportunity to cut the grass and just maybe connect them with the markets alongside the game lodges to cut and sell that grass. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ndate Mlambo, number 4.
Good day, everyone. My name is Musiwa Pia. I'm a pastime from the organization called the Black Circle. The Black Circle was formed 2019, and then EMEA Black Circle ke hore all of the black entrepreneurs or black people, we want to see our money circulating within ourselves for at least the period of 5 days before it goes to the bank or it goes to other people or other nations. So there are a lot of things that we are trying to put in place, like huetsa borakgwebo ba tsebane kaofela, ba tsebe hore mang o sebetsa ka eng, ba tsebe go supportana. But the reason ke eme mona ke hore that dream or idea I kgone ho etsahala because of the competition that we see happening within our townships. The influx of the foreigners and their unhealthy competition is killing our competition, our businesses. So lona jwale ka badula stulo ha hona makgotla ao le ka thusana le ona mmusong hore le ka thusa ho escape these business people, because even if the fundings di ka ntshuwa, training ya ba teng, but the competition e lore e hlaha ka batho ba ka ntle ha eno etsa hore ba be successful, ba tla dula ba ntse ba le ka fatshe. Thank you.
Number 5.
Protocol observed. ka lebitso ke Hlatswane Tsholo. Ka lebitso ke Hlatswane Tsholo Moshodi. Why ke bitsa the surname Moshodi? Because surname ya Moshodi ke eleng hore e entse ntho tse ngata in entrepreneurial ya the province, Gauteng province as a whole. Okay, ke tla summarize. The brain behind Ekurhuleni's success is this woman. Har starta ka Bavumile Vilakazi, the first mayor. Sanral, the brain behind the project esebenzang today is this woman. That concept ke bone Singapore ka 1995. And each time ha ke tsamaya ke overseas, nna ke kopisa or what is it that we can do in my country. That is why. So I've been with the South African Airways for 32 years. So, ka 2001, ka 2000, kile ka dula le Vali Musa and Aziz Pahad with regard to the bridge to Robben Island. For sure, I called them, I said, no, today, the project ya Sanral, ke nna hore ba tla pilota ko Allendale Road, how to cap the traffic in Johannesburg. So nanekse ke yentse for national. And ha kena tšhelete, ha kena funding. Ka dintho tseo tse ke tlang ka tsona. Hore ke tle ka Vaal, ke letswalla la Vaal, ke moradi wa Tsholo, that is why ke re Tsholo, the Tsholo High School. So, mamelang he. I'm sorry. How no joale? Ha ke tla tla Vaal, ke tlile Vaal e santsane e le bo Moshwadiba, and then ka re ho bona, charity begins at home. Ntho e ke e entseng Ekurhuleni, ke kopa re etse mona. Ke ha Peter Skhosana a tla decide hore ke bua le yena, a re okay, ha re etse ke mo bolella ke re nka di business people ba mona hore ho be le mall and le plaza e sebediswe, e ne sa sebetse. Ke ha e tla sebetsa. Ke re ha ke tla hae ke drive out tswa Ekurhuleni, every time ke bona batho ba le ba putswa ba sa sebetse. Now I'm here in Vanderbijlpark. The same thing is happening. Boipatong, Tsirela. These are the only places this nang shopping complex. How na le shopping complex? Batho ba ba sa sebetseng. Ba tlo kgona hore ba kene ka moo ba sebetse. And then Boipatong e tlo ba le tjhelete ya yona. Because ha re tlo patala di rates and taxes, ba tlo kgona hore ba kgone ho patala because tjhelete ya tswa hona moo. Batho ba bangata ba sebetse mona, especially Boipatong e putswa, la o kena wa e bona e putswa. Ha o kena ka Boipatong e putswa. And then wa ipotsa hore na ho etsahalang. So ntho ke kopa hore legislature hona jwale company ya ka ke Omeria Elegance. Ina le educational services, ina le construction, cleaning, and sets, which is structured educational tour system or services. And with sets, ke na le di products, tse leng hore ke di produces, they are doctors, actuaries, you name them. Why? Because ke ne ke feel hore batho ba e leng hore ba kene sekolo ka Vaal kaofela Ekurhuleni, Sentin, ba setse mo hae, let's think for them as well. And bana ba ka thola mesebetsi. And ha re boeleng back to the apartheid. Muso wa apartheid, ha o no o bala engineering, ba ne ba unka o ye o lo sebetsa kae kae. Ha ba qeta mo ba o kenya mo, even though ne re kgola di peanuts mara no sena motho a le tharang strateng. So re trusta
Agara re batlele phapatella apartheid matsogo.
mamela, ke etsa EG.
Mama, a
As a
tlhalose.
politician, ke etsa EG. Tsholo e everywhere. There's a book by the name of The Promise. E leng hore e ngotswe ke Professor Donald Tsholo, my uncle. So guys, when it comes to that, and the Mushodis, ANC, she was the first woman who lead 1956, who lead basadi to union building. So politics, you're not a politicians.
A re summarize, mama.
So, ha ke tlo buella ntho eo. Ene ke ka mokgahlong. Ke ka mokgahlong ene ke a apara regalia. But ha ke mona ha ke bui ka taba tsa dipolitiki. Mona ke bua ka service delivery. And to start with, waste department ya rona ke tswa Vanderbijlpark. Waste department ya rona ha etse next. O tla kry ke kentse katiba e kgolo ke kentse di plastic. Ka mo freaky mayor. Ka mo pela apartment e ke dulang go yona ke cleaner. Ha o clean you ba ka o bolella ko waste department le mayor a ka bua le MM a ka bua hore mme Mamshodi o tla every day a tlompotsa hore ke kene sekolo mare ke clean hobane ha ke no dula mo le ditshile. So for cleaning services, when company ya ka na le cleaning services, I can employ a lot of people who will do the job instead of badule baja. Waste department ya lona badula fatshe baja ke ba botsa nna ke ba lata ke ba botsa ke re le dutse mo because I pay tax. Lona la ja le tshwantse le kolmake. No, please.
Mama Tsholo. Let's take number 6. Number 6.
Sanbonani Tumelang. My name is Bongani Mhlambi. I am a business development consultant for a company called the OA's Business Amplifier. I also run a mini, what do you call it, kitchen in my neighborhood, and we've been facing a lot of issues with that and with regards to load shedding in most cases. I think a lot of people have said like a mouthful of things, and I don't have to like go back to their points. I feel sad at the same time because I'm grateful that there are so many like adults who are here to like show complaints, to give out complaints according to like their businesses and whatnot. But what saddens me is that there's like little youth here. You know what I'm saying? So as a business development consultant, I just wanted to like ask if maybe you guys might need help to make sure that these kind of gatherings, can you like maybe like find ways to make sure that more of the youth is actually involved? You understand? Because like Abuti, what Redlock, he also said that the reason like a lot of youth is not actually being involved is because of, you know, substances that are actually happening in the neighborhoods. And I feel maybe something needs to be done about that. Yes, fundings and whatnot, but I feel that we can all do that, but at the same time we can like multitask in making sure that there's more youth involved in here. And the other question I wanted to ask is, how do I actually, as a person who's actually running a business or who just started a company, can I actually like involve myself with the right people who can actually help me make sure that whenever like they said here on the Tshwane automotive that they want to implement solar, solars in their companies. I also have like one company that I've just started myself. So I just wanted to know like, how do I actually like find myself in a room where I can actually sit down, sit on a round table and discuss where, like, how do I like apply to be like, you know, part of the people and make sure that I also get myself like, you know, a piece of that cake. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bongani. We need more people to participate in these sessions. Let's go to number 7.
Dumela. Ka lebitso ke William Ngonelo. Ke mametse presentation ya department tsa kgolomente. haholo ke mametsi presentation e ya Tshwane SEZ. Jwale ka hobane rona re dula ka lefatsheng le nang la Emfulweni. Ke ipotsa hore ho etsetseng hore ho bane le a ke tsebe missing part ya ho ka kena Valley Economic Special Zone. Rona ra utlwa report ya Valley SEZ mona. Re utlwa di SEZ tsa Tshwane. I assume hore ka ra Gauteng di SEZ tse leng ka ra Gauteng ke tse tharo. Ke Tshwane, ke Johannesburg, and then Valley kone zangwano ba ezamanyana no. Mo ke yang teng ki fumane hore SEZ ya lefatsheng le la Johannesburg ki utlwile ho bua ka taba tsa agriculture. SEZ e Johannesburg e UR Tambonal company e kgolo mo e hodisitsweng ke kgolomente into food groups e kare ke yona eo e etsang di processing tsa dijo. Jwale potso ya ka ko hore ha re tlo bua ka special economic zoning ha o bua ka economy backbone ya teng ke tsamaisano ya agriculture. Jwale bohloko ko hore portfolio ya economic development they have decided to separate agriculture outside their portfolio and give it to social development. I made arguments last year really also to why rona batho ba buang ka temo ha re tlo qoqa ka di compliance batho ba agriculture nna ke tla bua ka taba ya lefatshe le metsi and then dintho tse leng they are very precise. Jwale o thola hore rona re kgone hore re ka kena mo ba re chief tsamaya o ye kwana tsamaya o ye kae. Jwale tabaka ko hore re reng ka agriculture ha le bua ka economic development yona le sietseng le siela le mang. Ho tloa mo ke tla tabeng ya hore mohlomphehi wa ka ke sa re ntate wa skipper se sweu ka re ke law enforcement ya mtseba ke na fanang ka law and order ha o nka nako telele. Jwale e ka re ntho e ke tsebang o chairperson a ko qala ko pontsha le ne ke tsa fela mhlala ka paju o chairperson ya petition committee. Jwale ke se ke le mojahong wa loto le nang le ke leng ho lona ke zamme ho bua le legislator ibile re la kopana le legal advisor tsa lona re ile legislator ka mabaka agriculture sometimes into ya hore re ne re etse mzabalazo re tshesa mateng and we will go there as youth mare hal qeta bala struggle la bona hore this is not responsive and not even sustainable. Ha re try to engage a provincial government e leng legislator. We went to legislator ra kopana le di legal advisor to an extent ba go rona re kenye query ya hore re kopa hore portfolio e ke e re bitsetse ho tlo bua ka taba tsa agriculture. Re kentse query ha ena follow up. Jwale ke bona hore ke mpe ke tsamaye tseleng ya hore ke batlane le petition mohlang o tlang ke tlo jwetsa nna rona re le bo rapolasi re lije ntwe re buang ka yona go motho a go batla 100 hectares nna ke le one nna ke batla 10 hectares to 100 nna one ngo batla bokae one o batla bokae bane jwale re emeng tenye one o fitlhela ona jwale ha re bane le tswelopele ntwe tse re di utlwang ke tswelopele ya Tshwane ke tswelopele ya Ekurhuleni ke nana mohlomong GP di figures tse hlaya mane hobane ke provincial competence batho ba bone hore figures tse mohlomong di bua ka batho ba dulang le bo di Ekurhuleni rona ha re yo mo ke tla fella hakalo a ke batlo senyetsa ba bana.
No ke le wa nkatla wena because o itse tsamaiso ya legislature ke so if una le matsapale tsenya fela petition re bona re isa ga ke a re go number 8
Dumelang kae re teng ka lebitso ke Selwane Raborifi ke dula mona Boipatong ke na le business ya skills development and empowerment ke utlwa ke le bohloko haholo ha re fuwa reporto ka di pleke tse seng tsa Vaal re na le Vaal special economic zone. So ne re ipotsa gore yona reporto ya yona e kae re utlwa re keng e ba etsetsang batho ba Vaal Hona le hore re tlo mamela dintho tsa tshwane. Ke fila re telluwa haholo batho ba Vaal because le ka se tle Vaal be le re jwetsa ka di successes tsa batho ba Tshwane le Ekurhuleni. Secondly, bomme ba bangata ba nang le di business ka Sedibeng. Mare they are not developed. They are not helped ka hore ba thola funding jwang. There's youth e ngata haholo ebile ke tlo buella Boipatong because ke batho ba ke dilang ka bona ba ileng batjha. Batjha ba Boipatong ha ba thole information at all hore ba sosa funding jwang from government. Ba bang ha bana di phone a kere information hona jwale e setswa ka technology. Ba bang ha ba kgone ho thola that information. So ke nahana hore ha re ka sebedisa di platform tse re nang le tsona tsa bo di radio, ra sebedisa platform tsa Valster because ke pampiri ya mahala hore ba thole information hore ba thola jwang thuso ho bona ho tswellisa economy ya rona pele. So ntongwa hape e ke kopang ho ibua kore yes report re e bona. Ke nana almost 80% of the people ba leng mo ha report ya ba I understand at all. So re kgathetse hore le re tlisetse report e fancy ya officing. Re kopa ha ke le theowe le tle leveleng ya rona ya botho. Ha le tla le di report, le tle le report re tlo kgonang ho understand because most of us we are not trained hore re ba le di report tseo. So batho ba bang ka mo ha ba utlwa le hore ne le ntse le re di report di etsang. So ke kopa ke re theoweng re tle leveleng ya botho hore batho ba understand hore ha ntse le bua mo ka the automotive. What is automotive? O teng motho a ka bang interested in that business. Mara jwale ha understand what is that. Ke tlo feta ho that part. Ke tla ho GEP. GEP ya re feila haholo. I'm one of the people ba feitsweng ke GEP several times. Ke gore ke na le di reference. Bona they are good ka ho fana ka di references. I applied GEP. Banjwetsa ka financial year end. Kaya the following year, they told me the very same story. And I happy re kopa eng bathong. Ha re ya di departmenteng tse fanang ka di funding. Ha ke le hire batho ba nang le lerato. People who are welcoming. Re thola batho ba angry. People who are bitter. You get in obotswe o le more confused. Kore o kena le confused. How you are worse because hona le re motho a dutseng stulong seo se ka pele. Au mite halfway ka information o re mamela ausi ka o re hona jwale re se re le qetellong ya ho ntsha ditjhelete ho tlo etsahala jenana wena ntho ka etsang nka step sena le sane. No, that is not happening. Nna GEP next apply for funding because ke bone ho le useless hore why ke tlameha ke applyele funding ke sena skill ne ke ikopela fela skill le training le yona yeo ba njwetsa ka financial year end bathong re kopa ke le re thuseng hore re phahameng ha le re help at all government. You have your own people ba le ba phahamisang runa batho ba fatshe se le itse le tlo re hatella more and more and more.
Are summarize my sister.
Ya o qetela ke hore re na le Vaal special economic zone re kopa ha ke le tleng bathong batho ba bang ka Vaal they don't even know you exist guys. Re mametse batho ba Tshwane why your report is not there. Ha ke le tleng bathong re ke re utlwe re le etsang ka ditjhelete tseo le di tholang. Ke a leboha.
Re lebole Meselwane number 9. Number 9. Or no man, there was number 9. I think we took come on 12. Okay. There were 12 wins this side.
Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Busisiwe Ngwenya, and my question is with Gauteng Growth and Development Agency. I've just recently... Busisiwe Ngwenya.
Busi.
Yes. I've just recently registered my own company, which is African Mpumelelo. I deal with beauty. I make my own soap, beauty bar soap, and my own lotions. So how I advertise my business, I go to malls and I also go to shopping complexes to promote my business. So my question is, how can I get training for my business? And how can I get assistant in that? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mebusisiwe. Let's take number 10. Number 10.
Dumelang batho ba baholo le batjha. Nna ke ne ke batla ho botsa mantsweng a mme wa ke hatella mantsweng a mme wa na buang mane.
Ara utlwa lebitso pa. Lebitso kana ke mang?
Oh, lebitso ke ntate Mareka, Bili Mareka. Ke hatella mantsweng a ntatwane. Ntse le tla fela ka di percentage tsa ntho tsa ikuruleni le tsa tshwane. Mona ha re soka re utlwa mara ha ntse le tla di percentage tsa lona ntse le re 100% di fihletse eng 100%. Ma rona mona re tse ha re so bone le motho a iwane re mo identify ya go bontsha hore ke ona o kene 100% eng. Re kopa le re thuse se ke la tlo re etsa diphoqo mona batho ba baholo ka. Thank you ke fella ka.
Lor le wile ntate Mareka. Number 11.
Dumelang. Dumelang hape. Ka lebitso ke Mzukise Roneuza from Emfuleni local municipality. I think it's appropriate today to get another platform because I'm coming from the side of the public, not as part of government. But talking about government, man, the cries that are here that we are hearing, there's nothing difficult like reaching out to the tiers of government from Fuleni. I'm working in the LED department. I'm responsible for cooperatives, SMME development, and business retention. It took me 6 years to get NEF. It took me 5 years to get CIFA. And the reports that we normally get, people that are appointed to work with the region, you'll find that they are not from the area. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's much wrong in an event that they don't reach out when you try to reach out. We wrote a lot of letters, we wrote emails, we even CC'd to ministers and others because we could not get assistance. On the agencies of the province, unfortunate that as the point person or the champion who's working on the activities that I've explained, it has been very difficult for me as government to reach out to the agencies. So I'm just requesting, even today, the event that is here, I think there's a lot that we would have suggested or proposed on some other things or giving the background on the challenges that we are facing so that when you make a presentation, you speak to some of the specifics in terms of challenges or you respond to them or you make proper interventions. So I was just saying that we have a very serious challenge. In essence, our department, it has been rendered ineffective. The last thing, there was a budget that was issued last year as part of building the SMMEs by the Premier. Unfortunately, there is a use of service providers. Not that it is wrong, but you find all the agencies coming straight and working with the people within the area. When they leave, the aftercare is in the hands of the municipality, our department. And it becomes a challenge because there's no synergy, we don't talk to each other. And I can safely say that for the past 5 or 6 or 7 years, that has been the case. I'm just requesting the portfolio committee to please ensure that even if, whether by legislation or any other means, to ensure that there is a binding something that will make that an obligation that these levels or departments are talking. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Kana lebitso ke ma Mzukisi. Mzukisi, ne? Okay. Let's take the last 10. Number 12.
Dumelang le kae?
No emise letso.
Ke le emisitse years later. Yes, ke lemisitse but late.
Yeah, because I know I've got 12 hands this side. Again.
O tla mpha ka mora hae. Ke mo. Okay, kopa o mphe next time.
I ke batle re senye. Because once ke allow or everybody ano bua, ro tlhaka like meeting. Again. Are etseng appropriate.
Okay, dumelang kaofela. Nna ke Musa. Ke Musa from South African Business Group. Okay, now let me just be quick because a lot of speakers have actually has covered what I wanted to say. So I don't want to repeat the same things that has already been raised. So rather I raise some few items which I think that they were not mentioned and they can add value. One is, I'm worried to a lot of things that have been mentioned here. How are we going to make sure we secure that it doesn't become a waste? How are we going to make sure all these things that have been raised here are going to be attended to and there can be commitments for resolutions into whatever has been raised here? And then maybe I try to add my 2 cents to say that as community as well, please are encouraging this thing of recopanele dinto and try to have a, for example, if we can, I'm making an example, to make a resolution, let's have a committee here out of the collective on the ground that will hold our committee and the table accountable on everything that has been said today. So that it's cover another preaching in the church. Goodbye, come next year again. So we need to make sure that we grasp in 2 hands such opportunities because they come once in a year. So how about let's make sure we hold on to one and hold them accountable on special issues that were raised here. For example, I want to refer issue of CEDA. Why there's no CEDA in CDB? Number 2, the issue of compliance. We know a lot of SMEs, they are not working. If compliance is such a critical issue, why is it that there's no grants for compliance? You have to respond to the real needs of SMEs and not just decide on your own and do what you think. Maybe we should question before you decide to the budget is going to sponsor certain elements of business. Do you do road shows and consult all SMEs to participate in your decision making or that budget? Is it going to be funding which elements of business that are relevant to them? We had an example here where an SME was saying, I wanted funding or grant for stock. And Luna, you are telling him something else. We had an example again of, I think there were a few examples of that. Maybe because remember, business has to be championed by business. You can't be a politician and champion issues of business. It's a contradiction. So how do you then integrate business community into your programs so that there isn't this big gap? Because listening to all the speakers, you can see that there's a big disconnect. It's like SMEs and everybody that's looking for employment is living in another world, and yourselves are living in another world. So we then have to focus on closing that gap because then you remain irrelevant. It might as well or for dijo. Anything that will come as a benefit tomorrow or something that will change my tomorrow because that's what we want. And then the other part is that in terms of sustaining issues to employment, let's not leave private sector unattended. There was a big issue more in Valley, where it was threatening to close the plants. I mean, where is our children going to work if the current institutions that are sustaining employment are closing? So can you also cover that in your resolution? Or how do you then intervene? Because if they are failing to run those plans better, let them invite us. really proposal how to run better, and yourselves can fund us to run those plans in sustaining issues that employment. And then the other issue is that I don't know how does it happen, for example, because this one, I want to put it as a question to you. Maybe you must come and clarify to us. How does it happen when we give an economical opportunity, waste recycling, for example, that my brother was talking about, or there's a Chinese that is operating there. I mean, how does that happen? Well, while we've got so much SMEs that are looking for opportunities, and we give somebody sitting in China to come and take over that opportunity. So it's a very big deficit. Okay, the other thing here, SEZ.
Summarize, my brother.
Yes, the other point here, SEZ, is that make an awareness, because you can know that the speakers, they don't even know what the region Yarona is rezoned for what. And they cannot align themselves with the rezoning of this region if they don't aware. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we've taken just over an hour again in making all of those inputs, including comments. We did indicate when we started. Again, la opola ki wilo rarabatle brainwave. You remember that everybody that wanted to talk. So at this time, we are going to hand over back to the chair. The department and ultimately the MEC is going to deal with all of these issues that you will have raised. Again, so chair lady, back to you.
Thank you very much, Member Litswadi. The MEC will come to respond to specific issues. I just want to explain one or two things. We are the portfolio committee. The task of the portfolio committee is to hold the executive in the department, the MEC and her technical team accountable. That's our responsibility, number one. Number two, I want to respond to people that said you came here, you are talking about Tshwane, you are talking about Soweto. I get the presentation is on the quarterly report of the department. That is why in the presentation, they go high level, talk about Tshwane, talk about Soweto, then zoom into Sidibeng. Because we are not bringing to you a Sidibeng report. We are bringing to you a Gauteng departmental report. When we spoke, I listened. So you are going to listen to me as well, without interjecting. I get one of my more when we started the meeting. And until it's very hand. So let's come when I'm telling you about our responsibility. Because you don't like what I'm saying. The department came to us as a committee and said to us, we have targets that we are going to implement, but we are going to break them per quarter. Calendar yarona in the quarter say 4. First quarter, second quarter, this is the third quarter. First quarter we went to Tshwane. Second quarter we went to Soweto. Third quarter we are here. When we close the calendar year, we will go to another municipality and choose a venue that we want to make the presentation to. And we say to the people that we've invited, this is the work that the department has done. Generally, overall, Mara, we then say, this is the work that the department did, in particular for your area. That is why here we are talking about Gauteng. then we zoom into Sidibeng. So we can't be coming to you and you're like, when we don't come, it's an issue. When we come, it's an issue. So, but I thought I need to explain to you, part of our backbone in our performance, is public participation. And this is what we're doing with you. Public participation is the tenet of the legislature. The most important work that we need to do is to engage our communities. This is what we're doing. So I thought, let me explain that. Ntate Zukiswa, you know what disturbs me as an activist and a leader is when government officials attend our meetings to complain. It's a problem. You guys are technocrats. You are the red tape people. Red tape. Who must help us to resolve community issues. So you can't come to a meeting and say, so you complain. You can't help us to cry. And I'm going to say you made an error and take it as an error. But solutions must come from you and these guys that are sitting here. Not from us. Not from us. You are decision makers. Sinikeza nina budget. So you can't complain that the budget is not spent. It's an error, we take it as an error. But asikuleni uyaphambili. Thank you very much. I'm going to allow the MEC to lead the team in responding to your issues. Some of the issues we had picked up and we requested the department to respond to them as we do our work before today. We had flagged the GEP to understand that the committee MEC, even when we spoke at the legislature on Tuesday, did some brief talk. We did raise to the legislature that can the MEC for finance abonele GEP khanyani because of the complaints that we got in another public hearing that a GEP man in a little issues in terms of funding. So there is, but the MEC will give us a bit of detail, but the committee has heard that cry and we put it as part of our request towards the budget that's going to come next week. Let's hope MEC urutlile utabakenza 5 rantenyana hore ba satisfy a bigger clientele in terms of funding. Thank you very much, MEC.
Thank you, Chair. And thank you, let me thank Member Letolo for facilitating the questions. Many of them were also comments and suggestions, and we take it as the department. And thank you for all the presentations that were made. Chair, thank you for just covering the question around the content of the presentation. Why does it cover other areas and not Sedibeng only? I think you explained that it is a quarterly report and it is regulated how we report and what we report. But safe to say, Chair, I think upfront I do want to say also based on the presentations that we've made to the Portfolio Committee, also to the Finance Portfolio Committee, also to the Department of Finance or Treasury in the province, that we do have a lot of problems with the enterprise propeller. Part of the problems is financial resources or constraints. We find that we exhaust the budget that is allocated to GEP. We exhaust it within the first 2 quarters of the year. And then the last 2 quarters, we don't have adequate funding. So we've made numerous presentations to Treasury just to be able to look at how do we recapitalize or re-put additional funding over and above what we do, because what we are getting now is what Enterprise Propeller got from its inception. So it has not increased, but the demand has increased. Also the types of businesses that we are required to fund has changed. We are working with Treasury and hopefully we'll get positive responses as we continue during the various adjustment budget processes. I think the second problem that we have with GEP is the internal capacity. It takes long to assess requests for funding or applications. We also have a huge problem on feedback. So if your application is declined, just communicating that. If your application is being considered, we are sitting with the enterprise propeller, but also it requires funding from Treasury to put in a system, automated system, where you can apply, upload the documentation that is required, where you can also track your application until the end of the process. I do want to say, Chair and Portfolio Committee, that applying for funding doesn't mean that automatically you will get the funding. And I think I received a complaint last week of somebody who applied. When we did a follow-up, that application was declined. The person who applied for the funding is now challenging why are they declined. But it's unlike, I made the example in yesterday's public meeting, it's unlike when we apply for schooling. You may not get the school that you applied to, but you'll definitely get a place at a school. Applying for funding is not the same. It's not automatic that you will get funding. It must go through a process. We must check that the business plan makes sense, the business case makes sense. And because our funding is a loan fund, we must also be satisfied that you will be able to, through how your business operates, you will be able to service the loan and pay us back, because we don't want to put you in a situation where you are blacklisted because you have not been able to service a loan. So, linked to that, all those who have complained that they've applied for funding, that they have not received a response, that they are not getting any joy. Shadrach, please stand. So Shadrach is in my office. Just wave. All those who have applied, please give Shadrach your reference number. We'll follow it up and provide feedback to you. But that's if you have applied, Chair, to Enterprise Propeller and you have a reference number. Unfortunately, if you have applied to SEDA or SIFA, SEDA and SIFA both are with the National Department of Small Business Enterprises. While we work with them from time to time, they don't report to us. And I unfortunately will not be in a position to assist. However, the same problems that we have with Enterprise Propeller, SEDA and SIFA have the same problem. Theirs is even bigger because they deal with the entire country. So they have more applications than us for funding, for business support services. So they are overwhelmed, and if you have the same problem with Enterprise Propeller, you more than likely will have the same problem with SEDA. There is a process currently to merge the two, SIFA and SEDA, so that they put the capacities together and see if that will help. A few comments and questions were around partnerships. I think there were 3 that said they do XYZ, they want to enter into a partnership with the department. For the department to enter into a partnership with any entity, it is an open process. We call for applications and we call for proposals. What type of proposal do you have? We scrutinize the proposal, and then on the basis of the proposal and whether it is going to work for both parties, the department as well as the partner, we then enter into an agreement of partnership. Linked to that, I do want to say that those who are interested in either being a service provider or getting into a partnership with the department is to look online for our call for proposals. Because it's an open process, almost like a tender process. We advertise it, we call for proposals, there's a period where we adjudicate, and then we enter into partnerships. The compliance, we do assist with compliance, but in some instances, some of the compliance is extremely expensive. And I think I spoke, Chair and Portfolio Committee, about our financial constraints. So compliance is done through various mechanisms, but for instance, if you are looking for compliance with, I don't know, national standards, South African national standards, some of those compliance are very, very expensive, but we do assist. Other compliance is just about information and knowledge on how to do it. Some are very much cheaper, some even are free of charge. But we do have a process of assisting with compliance. Again, if we've assisted companies with compliance, it eats into our budget of assisting with funding. Training, do we do training? There were a few questions or comments about training. Yes, we do offer what we refer to as non-financial support. Either ourselves through the Enterprise Propeller or ourselves through our partners. Our presentation did speak about some of the partnerships we have. It is training in specific areas. The constraint is that we are limited as to the private entities' requirements and needs. Sometimes they have needs and requirements in certain areas. It doesn't reach all of the areas based on where they operate. Sometimes it is based on what their own targets are seeking to achieve. We can't necessarily dictate where or who to attract and where to attract participants from. If a private entity doesn't have an operation, for instance, in Sedibeng, it's almost not possible for them to train people in Sedibeng because they will not have an operational facility for them to train, for them to be able to recruit. But if those are willing to participate in the various training opportunities that we have, we also advertise for it. If it is not in Sedibeng, it will mean that you will have to travel to acquire that training. Currently, we are running a training program in partnership with, there's many, I think the presentation presented it, and there's lots that we have advertised and spoken about. Last Mile, Uber Eats, there's one that we are doing through the tourism agency, as well as CatSita on training those in the food industry. Unfortunately, the facility that was chosen to do the training is in Johannesburg. And for you to participate, you have to go to the training facility in Johannesburg. They don't have another training facility. But we do offer training and non-financial support for businesses. There was a question on the private sector, or it was a comment. What is the intervention when the private sector, for instance, there was ArcelorMittal that threatened to leave? The private sector, especially when they want to downsize or merge or close, they have to report that to the National Department of Trade, Industry and Competition. It's not our competence, and I think on that one of ArcelorMittal, the DTIC did intervene and addressed whatever the issues are. But again, the biggest issue of the private sector is electricity, or the supply of electricity, and there's very little that the province can do to be able to address that, besides working very closely with Eskom, which we are doing. But linked to that is the merger of Heineken and Distel. So I'm speaking about it because it is in the Vaal region. So the DTIC, Department of Trade, Industry and Competition, approved the merger of Heineken and Distel, but with conditions. And we are working with Heineken now to work out how are they going to comply with those conditions. Once we have finalized that process, we will come engage with the municipalities here in the Vaal and communities in the Vaal and spell out what are the opportunities that are present there and how we can support, so that one, Heineken meets the conditions of the merger, but also we are able to directly and indirectly support the local community in the Vaal in taking up those opportunities that are as a result of the merger. But Heineken is here in the Vaal, Distel is in Ekurhuleni, and that merger, they have got different components and different things that they are responsible for. Do we have a relationship with municipalities? Yes, we do. I think there were 3 questions about really asking, can we come here? One, we do need the municipality and the municipalities to also cooperate. If they give us space in their offices to operate, we are able to dedicate colleagues from the department who will work here. We are doing that in Tshwane. Again, I think, of course, you don't want to hear about Tshwane, but Tshwane has given us space in the municipality to be able to operate. We need the same from the municipalities, but we do have a very close working relationship with the municipality. And I think the chairperson addressed the matter of how and what we expect from especially technocrats when we are dealing with the various municipalities. The question around waste, there were questions around waste. There was also a question on agriculture. Unfortunately, it resides with a different department. It's the Department of Agriculture, Rural Development and Environment. They are responsible for waste, either training, support. They are also responsible for agriculture. It is a sister department. I know that they do have programs in the Sedibeng region. We will also highlight that out of this chairperson, there were issues raised around waste businesses, support for waste businesses, as well as agriculture. Chair, allow me just to respond to one specific question as the last question. Was the lady who is producing beauty products. We do have, I think we've got 2 avenues to assist you. However, they are not in Sedibeng. The one avenue to assist you is the TIH. So you asked your question to GGDA. TIH is a subsidiary of GGDA. TIH is the Tshwane Innovation Hub. Unfortunately, it is based in Tshwane. There we incubate businesses, we incubate those who who are in the chemical, I think there's 5 categories that we incubate those businesses until we take you to a level where your product can go on the shelves. The second facility is in Ekurhuleni. It's a chemical company. They assist with also doing the same, testing, making sure your product is compliant, train you on business, etc. The company is called Kemen or Shemen, I don't know how you really pronounce it. Masha, I think somebody spoke about Masha. So, Chair, those that say that the department doesn't do any work, they spoke about our officials by name. But Masha can assist you with the contact details and the information on Shemen. Again, it's not based here, it's a private company, but we are in partnership with them. If you are willing to go through that process at that facility, you will get the assistance that you need. Chair, I've attempted to answer the questions. Many of them were common, and I've not necessarily responded to each person individually. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, MEC. That brings us to the, not the end of the meeting, but end of the department and the entities presentation. I want to thank you very much, MEC. Thank the officials that came from the department and the entities. We really appreciate that you came through and you helped us in engaging our communities. Thank you very much. Honorable Utwala?
Yeah, maybe so that we don't rush through it. Ndate Vosmos, I think Mbele, who is in the creative arts. You see, there's a number of issues that relates to the sporting arts, recreation and culture. Gideon also raised the same thing. Or they are operating within that space. And they are finding that there's no adequacy of support. So the Department of Sports, Arts, Culture and Recreation has got a number of programs. And so what I wanted to suggest is that we also assist them to be linked to the department, which is the relevant department, to look into their issues, so that you can get appropriate responses. because those responses may not necessarily come out of the Department of Economic Development. And then Bongani also mentioned that he runs a kitchen. Kana Bongano somewhere here. Bongani made mention that he runs a kitchen. Of course, he raises quite a number of other issues, but in the main is that he wants young people to participate, but he runs a kitchen and wants a support. I know the Department of Social Development facilitates those kinds of initiatives. So what we may have to do is to also share with you the relevant unit in the department that you can liaise with, so that you can gather additional information in respect to the work that you do. I suppose, well, in that day, Ricky might have, I'm not sure, Chair, whether we would have responded to the question under the Eric Mlambo, who's a restaurant owner, and had indicated that he needs assistance. He will have at some point sought to interact with the liquor board, but there hasn't been any responsiveness, Yeah, maybe in that Eric, we may have to get the reference so that we can follow through. I'm picking up on the issues that may need a bit of a following. Of course, Linda Demukuni, that reference, he had submitted not necessarily for funding, but for stock replenishment. It's something that may have to be looked into as well. Meposhi, yeah, Meposhi Alena, who owns a cleaning company, would have also said the same thing. Well, a great number of inputs were really just about zooming into the economics of the VAL. So that we are not too high level, I suppose that the limitation or the challenge, MEC, is that the department is a body representative of the entirety of the province. And so when you report, you may report across the board. But I think this request, it's a valid one, that possibly in our next interface, we localize, our reports, so that the residents of the VAL can also have an appreciation of the kind of interventions that are being made, so that we are not too far away from the issues that they are raising. I think those specific issues, Chair, is what I would have wanted to speak to. Mema Tapelo speaks about EPWP. I think the council is here. Kana mukansela roge? Utswil. We may have to link you with the council on the issues of EPWP. But on the issues of gardening, the Department of Agriculture has got a system of inputs. So if you say nuggets are agriculture, municipalities usually have what they call adopt the spot policies. And that is why we will have wanted the council. So that the councillor guides you through the process of applying for the utilization of that piece of land. You are not going to be the owner of the land, but you can be empowered to utilize the land. Of course, under conditionalities that the municipality would have prescribed. And then beyond that, when you need support, maybe RDCT, depending on the kind of subsistence farming you want to do there. The Department of Agriculture, and we're going to link you up, we're going to give you the relevant personnel, but again, that who's going to assist you, to get the necessary support. You know, I think they will also do their own analysis on whether you qualify for that kind of an intervention. Yeah, I think that was it.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Member Letswalo. We are in the process of establishing a VAL SEZ. It is still at application phase. We have appointed a CEO to drive the establishment of the SEZ. That is hello.
He's responsible for public participation.
Yeah, that's fine. Emela ntate, dumedisa batho ba ko VAL. Ha setse re le ready ka SEZ ya lona. O tlo re khapa re tlo deliver. Right, establish. We get in there. We'll come with him. Let's come with the poto no. Are le ready? MEC le nna re a motlisa. Re tla le SEZ ya ko VAL. Then re kenya ko reporting or VAL na le SEZ no. I get it. Thank you very much. MEC, there was a GEP. There was another questions or query from Tate Tulo. Ba go bona le la Bushatra ku teng mo Shatra ke emela le wena ba bona batho ba go tshwana. Ba go VAL. The question was, askizi, ajole le milatella. I gave a representative Gauteng. So re le rata kaofela le batho ba go tshwana. Ntate Tulo asked a question batho ba go GEP. Are yena o ikupetse stoko. Lona le mofe stoko. Le mofa mutchini olo wa o swipe di karata. Enena na sa kopi mtchini o. Na ikopela stoko. MEC, he says that machine cost GEP 34,000 rands. When he was asking for a 20 grand stock, then he was called and other people last week or so, and they were given a second machine. That one that you pay through the Ikoka one. And he does not want that. He is asking for assistance to get stock, not a point of sale machine. So Ntate Shadrack, bonana le Ntate Tulo, unke reference ya haya, wena li CEO ya ko GEP le muthusi. Abati mchini ukupa stock. Sa 20,000 rand afela. Lona le mofa mchini e costing about 70,000 rand. So but we pass Ntate Mona Shadrack, it looks like you know him. Tako yena o buele yena o skaita so much off. Re ufa direction. Where is Shadrack MEC? He does not want to stand up.
He stood.
Aman, Abushedi, aman. Kiwa Mona Abushedi, we put us at TV. Thank you very much. We now pass the report. We're getting into our last report. Hello, Val. Val, hello. I can report A1 Besera Peta. The last one, Banabako High. The department MEC must respond to the FIS that we want to do. I'm not sure who's going to do the presentation. FIS, Tabo? Who's doing the Masha? Okay. The MEC Premier Wamubita are apakiseka speedy but to discuss economy. So Ramudumel or Atamai. Obananda de Panya abita the MEC high. We expect and toten fela. I get it. Ralewa, thank you very much, MEC. Thank you very much. We're getting into our last report. It's a presentation from the department on the FIS topic that we are asking that is coming out of the annual report of the department. For 15 minutes, then we are at the end of the meeting. Thank you very much. Abutumasha. Hello? He's relatively tall, ne? He's relatively tall, so even the voice is at that level. So Haribua, we won't hear him. Let's allow him space to give us the presentation, then we are at the end of our meeting. Aridumelaneng or re tlo thola. Thank you.
As mentioned, my name is Matupa Nimasha. I'm from the Gauteng Department of Economic Development. We were asked to respond to some few questions in terms of the implementation of some of the programs that we are focusing on as a department in the province. So I'm just going to quickly run through some of the answers in terms of explaining how we work, and then we can take it from there. Just to indicate that the questions related to the retail program that we are implementing, the partnerships that we have, the model and the design of the model, and I think it will help also just to explain in terms of how we work. So the intention really in terms of our program is that we want to increase our retail stores footprint across the province. So we initiated a program in 2022 that we call the Township Retail. And late last year, we also launched what we call Kasi Umnoto Fund, which focuses on township-based retailers. So we also want to increase development and training opportunities, develop retail store infrastructure upgrade. We also are focusing on reinforcement of retail ecosystem network through, for example, establishment of distribution centers so that we assist people who need assistance with bulk stock, but also capacitation of social channel structures across our communities as well. So the first question that was asked was around providing details on our distribution model. What is the nature and how does that differ from what the other retailers are doing like Pick and Pay? So you will remember that we always have a challenge in terms of, especially township retailers, in terms of accessing collective support. So we've been saying as the community that we've got buying power, but we've not necessarily been able to consolidate that buying power and use it to drive our development. So the design of the distribution centers linked to township retail is meant to do those things. One is that we manage issues around bulk buying so that those that are in the program can be able to leverage issues around bulk pricing. But secondly, we also use the model to source local products that are tested and certified, as an example. So it's a model that is very important. If we were to win back, we need to be able to use our collective power to drive that. So in terms of the program, also what we do as well, where there is a cluster of what we call locally owned township retailers, and we are in a program, we are able to then set up, because of course, a distribution center has to have people who are going to buy and source in bulk from it naturally. That's how it is designed. So that's what we do in terms of the retail. So I think that's just in summary the response here. But it differs from also the other models in a sense that the store, if you look at the Pick and Pay model, for example, there were a lot of issues, as you know. How this differs is that the store ownership will still remain under the original ownership. They also have access to other support programs, including training. But also the owner of the stores have the discretion in terms of what they source. Because with the other model, people were not necessarily allowed to, for example, if you want to buy certain things locally, it was a problem because the procurement was centralized, and as a result, it displaced local SMMEs. So yeah, so we also as a store owner, you've got your own direct store inventory management and all of that, so you can take decisions on your own as well. So the second question was around the department should provide a historical background on the model since its inception, when and how it was conceptualized and implemented. So we started implementing this from 2022 following the approval or adoption of the Township Economic Development Act. So this is part of the offering that we have under Township Retail. But it came out of an observation that and research that we've conducted in terms of how or the issues that people who are in retail face in the township. So part of what we then said was that we need to be able to integrate some sort of bulk capacity to be able to source local products, but also to be able to support cluster of SMEs that are in the township. So one is that, for example, many retailers lack the capacity to leverage bulk pricing benefits. So secondly, many retailers in the townships do not have the means to source and sell local products, hence the move to establish consolidated platform. For example, if go zone 1, somebody who manufacture Archer, go zone 7, somebody who manufacture, as an individual business, it's difficult to be able to order from all of them and in terms of your stock, as supporting local manufacturing ecosystem. But through the distribution center is easy because those guys then take responsibility for managing logistics in terms of putting the products together. But also time spent in terms of buying stock lead to losses. In terms of research, most township retailers who own stores, shops, spend at least 5 to 6 days a month buying stock. So they leave the shop sometimes because they are a lone business. They'll close the shop, go and look for stock, come back, open. That is why sometimes we have an issue in terms of competitiveness around those issues. So that is a solution that was integrated in the delivery of this program. So I think that also we've responded to the issue around the conceptualization and implementation. I think there were other questions in terms of around us being able to quantify the time lost in terms of spending, but also we have noticed that there's lack of collaboration among us in the township, those who are retailing and those who are manufacturing. It's like we don't know each other and yet we live next to each other. So as an example, so our future plans is to grow a network of these distribution centers in the townships, so that we create opportunities and are able to stimulate local manufacturing as well. So that is the plans that we have for the future, so that we create opportunities for our products in the townships. So currently, we're implementing the program through multiple partnerships. In the partnerships, we've got Family Tree Holdings as our partner, we've got Coca-Cola South Africa as our partner, and many others who are providing different solutions, including bulk supply of certain things. It is a strong partnership model in terms of the delivery of the program. There are about 22 associations across Gauteng that are part of the program, where you've got a combined presence of just about 10,000 enterprises. So as mentioned, we've got the associations are also, part of they assist a lot in terms of, providing hands-on intelligence in terms of what is happening in the township on a day-to-day basis. And also we've got an anchor partner there, as I mentioned, for military leading the program as well. So one of the things that we look at, because when the act was approved, there were a lot of new requests that came from people who are saying, I want to start a business and all that. So in terms of at least around the retail and the distribution centers, we're saying the business should at least be in operation for at least a year so that there's a better understanding of what is happening. But we do provide training as well. It's not necessarily a disqualifying criteria, but preferably it helps so that we've got people who have a bit of hands-on experience, or at least they've got background in terms of running this type of business. Retailers should also be based in the township. must be willing to participate in group buying schemes. And I don't know why that is a problem for us, because these guys that we are saying are competing with us, they are basically using group buying schemes to outcompete us. So we're saying that this is something that we should do so that we are able to compete as well. But also the retailers that want to be part of the program must be willing to undergo training as well, because it's very important. There was another question in terms of, I think I've dealt with the selection criteria. The question here, Chair, I think there was just a mix-up. It was about how much we had spent in investing in the distribution centers that we currently have. Currently, we've got 3. We've got 1 in Mamelodi, we've got 1 in Kagiso, and we've got 1 in Katlehong. Part of what I mentioned earlier, where as we expand, we want to go into other areas, including in the Val, where we are able to cover other areas. So it's fairly a new program. As we also raise funds, we will be able to do that. However, we just want to mention also that we also have a virtual warehousing or distribution centers. So it doesn't have to be a physical structure where we've got a building like this and we put stock. There are also other platforms, digital platforms, where you can collectivize stock and be able to distribute accordingly. So there are those opportunities as well. But in terms of spending, those are the figures that we in terms of spending. On average, we spend that in terms of making sure that there is a proper refurbishment in the distribution center. We also put proper systems around technology, and we are able to link the distribution to local retailers and facilitate ease of stocking and all of that. So that is the on average where we are spending in terms of this. And as I mentioned, the plan is that we want to expand into other regions of the province as well. And in terms of ownership, so we've got the associations and members that are also part of the ownership. So it is a model that is focused on making sure that we as government don't own anything. It's a model where people in the township own these facilities, and we support them in terms of financing through the partners that we have, bulk stock and all of that, so that there is proper support as well. So what we, as MEC mentioned earlier, that when we look for partners, we advertise, we go out, we look for partners, and for the purposes of implementing certain programs. Similarly to in this one, we also went out and we ended up with a partner to assist us in terms of facilitating the implementation of this program. So we've got a memorandum of understanding with the partner, and so the mandate basically is to make sure that we provide support to retailers in our province. We manage the implementation, the rollout of the distribution centers. We also provide access to other support, including training, refurbishments of stores, and many other things that we do as well. So this is, the MOU is a tool that helps us to manage the relationships between us and these partners, so that when there are issues, we are able to review also these MOUs as well. So as the other question was the nature of relationship, and so Family Tree provides technical support to the distribution centers. It's still owned by the township entrepreneurs. So that part is not touched because it's a relationship, it's a commercial relationship between the owners of the distribution centers and the Family Tree as our partner, providing that technical support and linkage to other support as well. So to date, we've got as I mentioned, 2 distribution centers. One we call a big one, and the other one we call it a mini, but it still provides the same functions in terms of distribution facilities. Some of the challenges that we've raised, of course, as I mentioned, this solution is quite important. We require more resources for us to be able to expand and go to other regions as well. So, for example, in the West Rand, the municipality, they helped us in terms of the facility, so that we are able to set up. So it will be good as well in the Val, if our municipalities can assist us with that. We are currently also, Iguruleni is also helping us with their own facilities, so that we are able to support SMMEs that are in the township also. So part of it is that where government can assist us, we do engage so that we get that support, and we're able to set up these facilities to support our local economy. Yeah, and then also, as mentioned, while we've got solutions and we're actively engaging municipalities, of course, getting suitable facilities is still a challenge in and around the townships as well. So the economic benefits, of course, there are jobs that are being created there. The people will be hired, of course, but also, it stimulates local manufacturing because people who don't have access to markets, suddenly they'll have access to some such facilities that can be able to source products from them and be able to sell in the township on their behalf as well. There's also technology support because to run this model, you need technology. You need to be able to, for example, every time somebody comes and buys a tin of fish, the distribution center must know that at least in that store, this is where we are in terms of sales. They are also able to plan and do activations in some of the stores. If, for example, one store is battling to sell certain items, they can then do activations and marketing and be able to move that stock around as well. But also there's an issue around development of new skills in the area also in terms of this, because this also includes opportunities around last mile where people can then begin to move stock between the distribution centers and the retailers in the township. So I think in a nutshell, Chair, those were just some of our articulation of the design of the model, how it functions, and also where we want to go in the future as we continue to resolve some of the challenges that we face. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. We are not engaged in the report. We are going to do a site visit to go see these distribution centers, and we will mark against the presentation. Tabo, we are almost at the end. Do we have any provincial bills? Aziko. We don't have petitions, Honorable Litsualo. There's no reference. Also, the petition. So we are at the end of our meeting. I just want the next item, the date of the meeting, that will be communicated to us as per norm, the way we communicate our meetings. But then I want to thank all of you for coming through, for engaging with us. We appreciate the engagement. Equally, we even appreciate the criticism, because through the criticism, then we can do better. So, I want to thank the MEC team from the MEC's office, from the department, from our different entities. Thank you guys for coming through. We hope you heard what the community is saying about our work, and we will improve going forward. I want to thank our interpretation service. Hey, if you guys listen to what you say when you interpret, I'm sure you will laugh. But thank you very much for the interpretation service. Thank you also to our Hey, how? I also want to thank our interpretation, all of us, all of you, the radio, including our interpreters on our screens. Thank you to members of the portfolio committee for staying. This is our work, this is what we are paid to do, but I really appreciate that you came and we had to engage with our constituencies. Come on, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Really,